Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest streamers you've never heard of. I, of course, am always your host, Cross. Ads coming in with that host right away, thank you for that. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, who hopefully there's no tech issues and you'll hear him in a second, Nitro. Talking to the mic. Yeah, I am not picking you up through. Can you guys hear Nitro? Because I am not hearing him. Or, like, I'm not seeing him coming through. Talking to your mic for me. I'm quiet, really? Dang. Oh yeah, my mic's way down. Let me turn my mic way back up. What is going on? Of course we're having freaking issues. Because we've not done a podcast in forever. So. Alright, try again.
Yo, can everybody hear me?
Alright, you should be able to hear him now.
Wait. Sweet. I was just saying, I'm rocking the fresh co-op trio gear, man.
Yeah, man. I said, I think Coop's even in chat to see it.
I know.
Yeah, can you guys hear? Can hear him?
Yeah,
awesome.
they can hear me.
And how's the volume sounding, guys? Is the volume sounding good on us now? I've turned me up, and Nitro's volume's already fairly high, so hopefully you should be able to hear us okay.
Sweet.
And of course, back with the tech issues, because it wouldn't be our streams without some tech issues before we even get into anything.
Of course. But of course.
Let me try that again. Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest streamers you have never heard of. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Cross, joined as always by my colleague, Nitro, over to that side of me. Say hello to the lovely people, Nitro.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Now they can actually hear you.
I know, right?
Welcome back, guys, to the podcast. It has been quite some time. We were just talking about this. It's been quite some time since Nitro and I did the podcast together.
No, it's been 82 years.
We did a podcast obviously a couple of weeks ago, but Nitro was out of town, so I had Isaac and Caleb on with me to talk Falcon and Winter Soldier. But prior to that was the 12-hour stream, and we stopped doing the podcast for about a month or so, at least.
Yeah, we were like, we're not doing anything except playing games and the 12-hour stream.
Yeah, just so we could focus on the 12-hour stream prep, and we realised it's been like a good month, maybe close to 2 months since we've actually done a podcast together.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
That is kind of nuts.
But we're back. We are here. If you've not been with us since the revamp after the 12-hour stream, you'll notice we're looking a little bit different. We have a new background. We have some borders around our windows. Nitro still got the same dodgy camera, apparently, because it's still flickering like crazy.
Is it really?
Yeah, it keeps flickering every so often. Like, it's doing it on like my
Great.
screen for your Discord as well, so it's like, yeah, it's your camera that's doing it.
That's fun. Good times.
But we are back. We are coming in and we are going to be doing a full spoiler review of Invincible Season 1 from Amazon Prime. If you have not seen the show and do not want to be spoiled, be aware we are going to go into spoilers for this.
Heavy spoilers.
We're going to go into heavy spoilers to talk about it and what we enjoyed about it, what we are expecting from the next seasons, as Season 2 and 3 have been confirmed, and what we're looking to get from that. We also have a few news topics to talk about, because we've not had a chance to talk about news for the last couple of weeks together, so there's a few things that have came up I think we definitely want to talk about. But first, before we do that, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Right below me here, you will see the Gamer Grind Co. logo. We are, of course, still sponsored by our lovely people over at Gamer Grind Co. Hashtag on that grind. Let me throw it in chat. You, of course, can use that link there to head over and buy yourself.
Pointing in the wrong direction.
That's alright, I do it all the time because the camera freaking flips stuff completely. But remember to use Comics in the Cross at checkout to save yourself 5% on some amazing coffee. I am drinking their Kill Streak today. And I actually also got a bag of campaign in this week, so I actually have 2 bags in my.
Nice.
So I am thinking about grinding both of them up and maybe seeing if I can do some mixing stuff, because I don't often get the chance to do that.
Dude, dual wield, baby.
Exactly. So go ahead and get your coffee needs fulfilled there at Gamer Grind Co. And they've been massive supporters of the channel since day one, so go ahead and show them some love. Alright, also as well, if you have not joined us in our Discord and are over on there, please come and join our Discord and join in the conversations. There are conversations happening there daily, so please come along and be part of them. We would love to chat to you more off stream and get a chance to know the Comic Clan more. And of course, follow us on all of our social medias. Alright.
Ross, I just have to comment. You're getting quite a pop collection behind you.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, Nitro as well got me a brand new pop, and I keep meaning to take pictures and show it off in the Discord and social media, and I keep like getting caught up with work at night and forgetting about it. But at the top of my pops here, on this side, I know where I'm pointing. I know what I'm doing. Let me grab it actually and show it off, because Nitro got this for me, and it deserves to be showed off because it's awesome.
It does look sweet. I'm not gonna lie. It looks sweet.
And for anyone that ever had the question of, is Cross actually wearing pants when he does a podcast? Yes, he is.
He is. He is. Definitely. Or shorts. Same thing.
Same thing. He actually got me Power Rangers Lord Draken figure that he found in second-hand Charles. Anyone doesn't know, I'm a big Power Rangers fan. Lord Draken is a character that was introduced in the Power Rangers comics by Kyle Higgins. This is a PX Previews exclusive, limited to 30,000 of them. Who the hell gave it away and put it in a second-hand Charles? I will never know. But
so yeah, second-hand Charles was like, this is a collector's item, so we're going to charge $1 extra.
Yeah, it's like 13, 14 bucks for this, and I'm like, yeah, there's 30,000 of these. You could put a bit of a bigger price tag on that. Yeah. It's like collectors will buy. I'll pay more for it. Like, but yeah, so Nitro picked that up for me. So thank you very much to Nitro for snagging that for me. Locke said, "Short pants are still pants." Amen, sir. I've only seen episode 1. Maybe I should have been watching Invincible instead of rewatching Avatar. I was going to say, go and watch it. It's only like 7 episodes. It's a short series. It's an awesome series, but it's a short series.
It's really good. And the episodes are only like 40 minutes. So
yeah, they're like 40 minutes long, but they feel like they're so packed with stuff, though. Like, it really feels like the episodes are packed with stuff. But we will get on into all of that in a minute. We've done all of our stuff, so Nitro, it's been a while since you've been here, apart from like our gaming streams. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Rocking some fresh ink. I don't know if I'm sure people have seen this.
Yeah, I think people have seen it, but I don't think you've like properly showed it off or anything yet. So
yeah, so I got some ink done for my kids and stuff like that. So pretty excited about it. But nothing else other than that. I mean, we started the Art of the Hero stream, which I don't know if everybody that is in our Discord, we are going to be doing that on a weekly basis now. So, and I'll probably be mixing up some gaming in there at some point too. But for the most part, it's just going to be art.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, things are going good, bro.
Yeah, we had the first Art of the Hero stream this week, and it was absolutely awesome. Nitro does some amazing pieces of work. Check out our social media and our Discord to get a look at some of those. But he does some stuff like off the cuff just to kick us off, and it was really sweet artwork. We had a bunch of people just chilling, hanging out.
Yeah, and Chunk, since you're here, we will be working on your piece this coming Tuesday, so just a heads up on that.
Yeah, cannot wait to see that one. Can't wait to see Nitro go into full swing with some of these big pieces for the giveaway. Robert Redbeard coming in saying hello. Isaac and I are lurking. Alright, well, here's my new thing I get to try out and see if this actually works or if this goes horribly wrong, as most things do when I set them up.
Uh-oh.
The shoutout thing. Let's see if this does what it's meant to do. Infinity Bros.
Nice. Oh, I forgot to shout out Isaac too. I just saw Rob's name. What's up, Isaac? Check out.
I see the checkout, but it's not playing the clip. Of course it's not, because that'd be too freaking easy. Alright, so I'm going to go and fiddle with that. What I'm trying to do is there's meant to be a shout out thing meant to play a clip from the stream. There is also the possibility that the Infinity Bros don't have clips to play. But they might not. I have no clue either way, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it doesn't seem to be going away.
It doesn't.
Why is that not going away now? Okay, we're going to remove that, and we will fight with that later. So what was meant to happen there is it's meant to do a shout out, and I've seen other streamers use it, and it seemed like fairly easy to set up, which is probably where the worst issue is, of it's too easy to set up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you're meant to do
really
it.
easy. It's not.
Yeah, you're meant to do a shout out. It's meant to link to your Twitch channel, so when it does the shout out, whoever your channel you're shouting out, it'll go and nab a clip from their channel and play a clip, and show them off a little bit and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that went not well.
Went swimmingly.
So that will be worked on this week, and we will try it again next week and see how that goes.
Sounds good.
100% go ahead and follow the Infinity Bros as well. Good friends of ours. They are so close to 300 followers. So go ahead and give them a follow, give them some love, and help them hit that milestone. But speaking of milestones,
yes, do tell.
Y'all are awesome. Our community is absolutely amazing. We, last night, earlier yesterday, shouting out saying, like, we're like 4 people away. I think we were at like 396. And I was like, we're 4 people away from hitting 400 followers.
Yeah.
I'm not even got time to go into how the heck we managed to get close to 400 followers in the first place.
No clue.
All of y'all keep showing up and keep listening to us ramble and play games really badly. So apparently we're doing something right. I have no idea what.
Mustache.
It's the mustache.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, the mustache is bringing them in.
I know.
But you know, good to your word, you're keeping it, because I love the fact that your wife loves that now.
Yeah, I know. That's not good.
I spoke that into being. Of course, you know you're stuck with this mustache.
You bunch of jerks.
But we done a shout out, like 4 away from 400 followers, and shout out to Perkysaurus who followed us as their opening screen was up. But I think we are now at something like 404, which means within like me posting that yesterday to the start of the stream, we've gotten like 8 followers.
Yeah.
Who helped get us over 400. So thank you so much to everyone who's followed the channel. Thank you to everyone that comes and hangs out with us.
You guys are awesome.
Listens to us ramble about stuff, that talks to us. You are greatly appreciated. We love you all so much, and we've got an amazing community. I couldn't have asked for a better community to have when starting this. It's honestly phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are at 400, so we're now over 400. So we're on track for what in the back of my head was always like the first massive milestone that you think about when you're thinking I'm going to start getting seen on Twitch and getting followed. Is when am I going to hit 500 followers? Yeah. That's like the first kind of like massive milestone. Like hitting 100, 2, 3, 4 is big.
It's huge.
But like you're halfway to 1,000 at 500, and we are almost there. And
we only got 96 more to go, man.
I can't believe you guys have gotten us there. So thank you so much for helping us on this road. For those that tune in to hear us talk on the podcast, to play games, to see Nitro's art streams, to tune into our podcasts and all the places you can find our podcasts. Keep plugging.
You guys are animals. What's up, bro?
Hey, Caffeine Rush. Caffeine Rush coming back in. Thank you for that. Congratulations. But yeah, as I'm saying, podcast, you can find us on the audio versions of the podcast on all these sites here. Go ahead and check them out, because I'm going to shout out because I can. But yeah, we hit this massive milestone, and we are so excited. And I guess the other big announcement is that apparently we're adding a new streamer to the channel.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
I don't even know how this came about. Like, literally, like, all I can say is, like, have you ever had moments where it's a God thing because nothing ever seems to be, like, this doesn't make sense? My wife is the one that came to me. I'd like to preface this. I didn't ask her. She's the one that came to me with the idea of doing it. Her brother is a massive, like, horror fan. He loves horror movies, horror games, all that sort of stuff. So she's been playing like Animal Crossing with her family and stuff. They all interconnect, and that's how she's been spending some time with them lately. And she talked to me about the fact that she was interested in possibly checking out BioShock. It's on the Switch, and she's got her Switch. That's what she plays on now, and she's thinking of checking it out because he kept telling her how good a story it is. Even though it's a horror game, it's got an amazing story. Yeah. And if you ask anybody that's played BioShock, they'll tell you the story's phenomenal. I've never heard a complaint about BioShock in my life. But he is the one that came up with the idea and said to her, you should stream it. You stream it across his like Twitch channel.
Yeah.
And she started thinking about it and thought, you know what, that's actually probably really funny because she hates horror stuff. My wife doesn't. My wife is a big scaredy cat. I love her to bits. She is a strong and amazing woman, but she will jump out her skin. She will not watch horror movies. They will freak her the heck out. She will not play horror games. But she said about streaming BioShock on the channel. And I'm kind of like, who are you and what have you done with my wife? You don't enjoy being on camera and doing public speaking things in front of people. You don't enjoy horror stuff all that much. And even then, you've said if BioShock gets over really well, you're willing to do more.
You're willing to subject yourself to more of this?
I'm like, do you know who our community is? They're not going to make it a fun experience.
No.
Just saying. But she's apparently up for this, so it looks like we're adding Jay to the stream team, my wife.
Nice.
She is going to be coming on, she's going to be doing it. We're still working out the logistics of it. Because my stream setup is here in my office, but this is also the office I work out of. I've got my computer usually sits here on my desk that I do for work. So like I legitimately have them set up at the same desk. So her doing a separate night doesn't work because I work evenings. So the plan at the minute, and if anyone has any other ideas they can shoot to us, is that I'm about to finish up Avengers and I'm about to kick into Kingdom Hearts for Monday Night Crossplay. Mm-hmm. Once I finish Kingdom Hearts 1, we're going to swap over, I believe, and Jay's going to come on and she's going to do BioShock 1. Once she's finished that, then we'll swap back out and I'll go back to Monday Night Crossplay, do Kingdom Hearts 2, she'll swap back in, do BioShock 2, and then I'll pick up Kingdom Hearts 3 possibly, and we'll just switch them back and forth, so we're interchanging.
Yeah.
Because the only other evening we've got is a Sunday evening, but with how crazy things are with the kids, with the fact that I work every other evening, that's our date night basically. The kids go down, we actually get to spend time together. Mm-hmm. So we're not really wanting to give that up.
How dare you? How dare you not sacrifice your marriage for the stream?
I know, for the stream, and I give the stream frickin' everything else I've got, why not?
We're talking about commitment, man.
But yeah,
I'm joking,
it's like,
everybody. Just joking.
But yeah, so she's going to be coming on. She's going to be doing some horror games. The idea seems to be running right now of for the name of it being You're Dead, Try Again, seemed to be the winner of it. We put out a few feelers on it. A lot of people seem to really like that, and it's kind of based upon the Nancy Drew thing of you have made a fatal error, try again. Just to go with
the chosen one.
Hey, Chosen One, welcome back in. Chosen One popped in during one of our Monday night streams. Welcome on in from Paris. Coming in from Paris. Appreciate you stopping by. So if y'all want to see her doing it, show your love, show your support on the social media and Discord that you want her to be part of it and do this. She's honestly very excited for it. A little bit nervous doing it as a stream. It'll be her first time streaming, but she's excited, and I think it's going to be an amazing addition to Comics in the Cross.
I'm interested to see her play through that game, though. Caffeine Rushers in the chat. I don't want to speak for you, man, but I think that's your favorite game ever. So
yeah,
that's an awesome game.
So Nitro, we're probably going to need you to do up another logo for You're Dead, Try Again, and I've got some pictures I'm going to send you, like of the Nancy Drew ending, like you've made a fatal error, try again whenever she dies in one of the games, and to do it in that sort of style, and if we can. But I'll send that to you and just to work on it. It's going to be a little bit off because I'm about to finish Avengers and I've already set up to start Kingdom Hearts. So it's going to be a little while off. I don't know how long Kingdom Hearts is going to take me specifically.
Okay.
No Chosen One, the review hasn't begun. We've not even done the news yet. We've had a few announcements to kind of go through and a few tech issues, but
that's par for the course with us.
Yeah, pretty much. We ramble and eventually get to what we're meant to talk about. But yeah, go and show her some love, and for Lady J, the third streamer. So we just need to get Nitro's missus on here doing something now and talk her into it.
Yeah, that might take a while, but we'll see.
Sorry, there's three of us now. We can all start, working on it.
Yeah, I think Lady J might have to lean in on that situation.
I will have her lean in on it.
Some movement.
It's around 30 hours. So yeah, average is 30 hours.
I would say that's accurate, Locke.
Yeah, so it's going to take me like a couple of months at least to get through Kingdom Hearts. So it's going to be in the summer before we end up doing BioShock.
Oh yeah, she does. She does like Borderlands, so we could do some Borderlands.
Borderlands for Nitro's message. There you go.
But again, Lady J is gonna have to lead in on that conversation.
Oh yeah, we'll get her to lean in on it. We'll get her to play a role in that, and
I'll get straight up shut down if I initiate that.
so much love in your household, Nitro.
Oh my gosh.
It's alright, and not a lot of the side stuff. I'm probably going to mostly do the main story log. It might end up going longer, like with the first Kingdom Hearts, but then I want to give, because the other option for us doing it was going to be a Monday night of like her do a couple of hours and then like me do a couple of hours, and interchange on a Monday, and it's like, and I kind of don't want to do that. I enjoy having my Monday night crossplay and doing I get like a 3-4 hour stretch. I can literally just hit a game and get into it.
Yeah.
Call it Ladies Night and have them play Bioshock together. Hey, if they're ever doing some co-op horror stuff, I'm all for it. But yeah, let's jump into some new stuff for today then. These are some new stuff that have came up for the last couple of weeks. We've just not had a chance to talk about some of them.
Let's do it.
So first of all, this has to be talked about because it came out just last week. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last Sunday because we were doing our gaming stream. We got a trailer drop for Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeesh.
Now, Nitro, Venom is one of your favourite characters in all of comic bookdom. You're a massive fan of the anti-hero Venom, of Eddie Brock. What did you think of the trailer?
Oh, it was hot garbage, honestly. Alright, so there was a discussion in our Discord. So again, a plug for our Discord if you're not in there. You need to join us. But so we were talking about the first movie and comparing the trailer to the first movie, and I feel like with the trailer you want to put your best foot forward. Not sure that's what happened with the Let There Be Carnage trailer. So Venom was a fun romp, right? It was a fun movie, but for a diehard Spider-Man fan or a diehard Venom fan, it was a travesty. As far as at least in regards to the origin of Venom, right? Now, like, the way that they visually represented Venom and all that stuff, and, like, even the way he talks to himself and stuff like that, awesome. It was way better than Spider-Man 3. Like, worlds better. But this trailer just promises more of the same stuff that I hated in the first movie. Like, a lot of the over-the-top, gross-out comedy that between Eddie Brock and Venom and all that stuff, and just the slapstick stuff. I'm just like, come on, man. But yeah, I'm just like, oh. You're trying to put your best foot forward with the trailer, and this is not doing it for me.
You know when the trailer broke me, when I'm like, oh, that's gonna be crap. Do you know what point in the trailer it broke me?
Which one?
Opening scene. Literally him cooking in the kitchen in the symbiote, so reaching about and doing all this stuff. Like I 100% get it. You're trying to do a comedic side to it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's really what you're leading with, is this freaking like cooking scene. I'm like, and just watching it, I'm like, I have less interest, 100% less interest watching this than I did the first one. Like, even the trailer of the first one, I'm like, it wasn't phenomenal, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check it out. And it is, Venom's a fun, like, stupid adventure movie if you just take it for what it is. It's one of those ones, like, I'd quite happily pick it up if it was cheap on DVD, like at the the grocery store sort of thing on the shelf. When you go, oh, that's looking cheap, I'll go and pick that up. If not, like one of those action movies you pick up, you're not expecting a lot from. In that sort of sense, I will. I would happily do it. With this one, I'm like, I don't even know what's the story.
Yeah. Well, thankfully they fixed Woody Harrelson's hair because it was just god awful.
Oh yeah, that was easy to fix. Take the wig off.
That was so bad, man. Like, who okayed this? Who okayed the clown wig?
I know. It's like they took that off. And I'm like, thank goodness. That's the only good thing I can say about the trailer, is at least they got rid of that wig on freaking Harrelson. But like, legitimately, tell me, what was the trailer about? What is this movie about?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even. It just sets up that Cletus Cassidy has some sort of weird obsession with Eddie. It doesn't set up him getting the Carnage symbiote. Even the symbiote that appears at the end that Venom's fighting is apparently Toxin.
Well, and the thing is,
and it's like,
okay,
so what's it actually about? You've literally told me nothing.
All right, here's the thing. Like, in the comics, yeah, Venom has a lot of symbiote villains, right? Symbiote villains, but he has other villains.
Yeah.
And like, Venom 1 was basically Venom against another Venom who happened to be a little bit bigger and had cool weapons. And this one is just going to be Venom against another Venom who's red and has cooler weapons. It's literally the same thing. I'm just like, you gotta you got to do something different. I'm all for having Carnage in the movie, but you just gotta do something different.
Hey, at least this one will be red, this symbiote, so at least if they have that big fight at the end, we'll actually be able to see what's going on.
He's black and he's black. No, he's a very, very dark blue.
I'm like, it's like, yeah, Venom versus...
fighting at night.
Like, literally Venom versus Toxin in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I can't see a thing. That's like the freaking, what was it, the Alien versus Predator, like, Requiem angles, where you've got the Predator and the Alien Predator monster combined, fighting, but the camera's, like, here. And I'm like, I can't see a thing. What's the point in this scene?
What's happening? It's like all the Transformers movies, all the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Yeah,
I just see
I
have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, Nitro, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe Toxin's an offspring of Carnage.
I am not 100% sure on that.
I believe Toxin's an offspring, because Carnage is an offshoot of Venom, but I believe Toxin's an offshoot of Carnage. I forget who creates who, because they split off of each other so freaking often. Same debate about Batman's colours. Yeah. Invincible's a good show. Absolutely, Neo.
Toxin is born from Carnage.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Toxin was from Carnage. So Venom's his grandfather. Technically. His grandparent is. It's like he's a couple of generations removed. Right. But yeah, so like for that... So when just stop. I know you listen to the podcast.
I know we're the number one on your on your employees' podcast list.
Just stop.
Just hang it up and burn the closet down, okay?
Just hang it up. Everything. Just get rid of it. It's not worth it. It's just be done. Just give it back to Marvel. Keep whatever rights you get for certain things and let them do what they need to do with it. Just. Oh yeah, Neil, we're going to get into that. We're talking about some news just now, but we're going to get into that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I think the biggest thing that hit me in the gut with the first one is like Venom. His origin is married with Spider-Man. Like it's he's married with Spider-Man. Like you really can't have Venom without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just stripped that out, and then they tried to explain his backstory, and I'm just like,
but
you're already starting off on the wrong foot, man.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, I've got to even give it credit. Like, the story for like what they did with it, for the most part, I'm kind of okay with. Like the story of how they got Venom and stuff, like the actual him and how he's here, and how he connects to Eddie. I'm like, okay.
I think they did best with what they had.
I can work with that.
Yeah.
But the part of that might be there's so much else worse with a movie that's not the bit that comes to mind when I think what's wrong with it. Like that origin of not being linked to Spider-Man, I'm like, that was one of my big concerns, and it's so far down the list of issues at this point compared to other stuff with the movie. Like there's other stuff, like it just doesn't make sense. And it's like, I think the most annoying thing about it is even if you take Spider-Man out, even if you create some crappy origin to get Venom and Brock together, it's like there are so many great stories in the comics. You literally have the source material with this great character with a great backstory.
Yeah.
Look up Eddie Brock if you've never read the stuff. Look at the literal backstory of this character.
Yeah. And
who he is as a person. He's not just some two-dimensional villain. He is a really deep, complex character. And you've used none of that.
Yeah, Locke made a good point in chat. He said, they did the best they could. It allowed them to skip the villain stage for Venom and basically just skip straight to him being the hero. Yeah,
which they kind of had to do. It's like, it's that thing of making it of getting him to that hero stage, because you can't do the villain stage without Spider-Man. So they did a good job managing to jump over the kind of hero, anti-hero type stuff. But anyway, we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on.
I do not have high hopes at all for this next
not even a little bit. So the next one, we had massive news coming out that they're going to be doing another Superman movie. J.J. Abrams was like connected and everything and linked to it and all this sort of stuff. Then they made the massive announcement that they were going to be doing a black Superman. So all the rumours started to circle that it was actually going to be Val Zod, the Superman of Earth 2, who It's an interesting choice, an interesting character. He is definitely black and wears a very kind of cool like blue with hints of red and white to it. Very cool looking suit, very cool looking character. So a lot of people thought we were going to get that. Then the announcement came out that we were not going to be getting Val-Zod. We were in fact going to be getting a black Kal-El. Who Kal-El, if you don't know, is Clark Kent. That is the main universe Superman. So we were going to be getting a black actor playing Superman.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this recasting and also as well like the fact of like J.J. Abrams has been ousted and stuff. He's not doing it anymore. It's going to be probably a black director, a black creator, and it's put in that position.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this announcement of this new Superman movie and what they've got planned for it and everything like that?
Yeah, I'll preface this by saying I think anything can work as long as it's done good. That being said, like, you have a dude who is in the prime of his life right now, who has played Superman before, and who people love, like, pretty much unquestionably, in anything he does, but especially his Superman role, who has said, on multiple occasions, I will continue to do Superman if you will let me. What's the deal? What's going on? Like, why are we not doing a Man of Steel 2?
Yeah.
Why are we not doing a Man of Steel 2 with, I don't know. I don't see the need to recast Kal-El right now, while we have,
it's like
somebody who's been willing to do a second Man of Steel.
I just don't get why Warner Brothers is so against doing another Superman movie with Henry Cavill. He has literally came out and said he'll play the role. Like, he was cut from the end of Shazam. Like, after the Justice League, like, they cut him for the end of Shazam. He was meant to make an appearance, like, right at the end. And it's like, he's constantly said, like, Locke saying, like, Justice League was a bomb, so they eject the franchise as a whole. Too many ones already in motion. But Superman was the first one they had in motion. Like, Man of Steel was the first movie in the DCEU. Henry Cavill loves playing the character. He's one of the characters people adore and want to see him playing more. Not to mention, look at the guy. He legitimately is built like Superman. The guy's a beast.
Yeah.
And he's a geek.
Yes.
He literally
built his own computer.
He built a gaming computer. Like, this guy's like legitimately a geek.
Yeah.
He loves Superman. He wants to play
I mean, come on, guys. He's one of us.
Yeah, he's one of us. He looks like Superman. He wants to play Superman. I mean, they scrapped the Batfleck movie because it hadn't started, and they kept Flash because production is... Yeah. But that's the thing, though, is like, the Batfleck one I can understand. Like, I wanted to boot Ben Affleck by the time Justice League came around because it was like he was so in and out log. But, like, for Superman, like, he has never been more in. He's been hounding Warner Brothers, like, let's do Man of Steel 2. Let's do Man of Steel 2. Let's do Man of Steel 2. And they just refuse to let him do it.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, we're going to do another Superman movie, but we're going to bring in a black actor and recast. And basically, we're bringing in a black actor, so it means we're going to restart and wipe the slate clean with a brand new.
Yeah.
Hey, Code Princess, thank you so much for coming in with that follow. Welcome to the Comic Clan. This is the way.
This is the way.
Thank you so much for coming in and joining us. But, like, I don't get it. You've got a guy who is desperate to play him. Like, let me preface this. I don't have an issue with a black actor playing Superman. But when you've already got a guy who's cast in the role, who legitimately looks like he's been ripped straight out of the comic books.
Yeah.
Like, he literally looks like Superman from the comics. Why are you... And he wants to play the role that you cast him in. Why aren't you letting him?
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do the Black Superman and do Val-Zod and do an alternative universe thing, go for it. You've been doing that sort of stuff. But why are you changing Kal-El when you've literally got an actor already playing him?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But, like, I'm interested.
No sense.
I'm interested to see who they cast. I'm interested to see what the role they go with that. I just think Warner Brothers is just like clutching at straws right now. And of course, the whole internet like totally turned on Warner Brothers though.
Oh yeah.
Because they cast a black Superman, and then everybody went, "What, you're wanting us to support that?"
There's an actual black Superman in the comics
who's a different Superman?
Oh, not even that though. Not even that. People are turning on them because they're like, you're wanting to cast a black Superman and expect us to support that after all the tweets that Ray Fisher has been putting out.
Oh yeah,
about the fact that he's not been getting treated equally, about the abuse he took on set playing Cyborg, about all this stuff. Yeah. Not to mention the fact of his entire story from Justice League was pretty much cut. You're not going to give support to an actual black actor who you've got on your cast already, who's playing one of the Justice League, but you're now expecting us to go, oh look, they're trying to be, you know, inclusive and do a black Superman. And I'm like, you're not expecting. You think we're not going to think you're just going to screw that up and all? Like, really?
Yeah.
But hey, Co-Princess, glad to be here. Thank you so much for being here. We honestly appreciate you coming in. Glad you could join us today.
It just sucks so bad. Like, I feel so bad for Henry Cavill. He seems like a really good dude, and he just basically sacrificed his body so he could try to be Superman, and they just won't let him.
Yeah, they just won't let him be it. I've never seen an actor have to fight so hard to get a movie made about a character he's already been cast as. There's almost like a guaranteed moneymaker, as he has to fight Warner Brothers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
it's weird.
But we'll keep you updated on where that one's going to go. And the last big story was a few weeks ago we got the big like trailer reveal from Marvel of all the upcoming stuff that was coming out. So we got like movies and the release dates from all the way through to like 2023. And we got stuff like Black Widow, Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings, which we also got a trailer for, which was phenomenal. We got our first few clips of Eternals.
About time.
Don't have a trailer yet, don't have a full story for it, but we got our first like actual clips of it. Then in Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, The Marvels, which will feature Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I mean, a bunch of these we already know. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 announced, and then Fantastic Four. But then some news came out a few days ago about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that basically this is going to be the end of, or likely be the end of Dave Bautista playing Drax the Destroyer.
Oh wow, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, apparently it's not been officially confirmed, although he was talking about it, that he feels like this is going to be, absolutely chosen one at 50. Henry Cavill's probably going to end up playing Omni-Man if they do the live action.
I'm all for that. Did you see his mustache in, what was it? What's the movie?
Oh, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Which would be just kind of ironic. He gets cast as a Superman with a mustache after the whole Justice League crap around that. But yeah, apparently Dave Bautista's going to be done after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which makes sense. He's done a bunch of them. This is his third Guardians movie, but he's also appeared in the Avengers movies and stuff. He was in Endgame and Infinity War, and possibility of him going to be showing up in Thor Love and Thunder as Thor's travelling with the Guardians now. So it's not like he's not played the character multiple times. I can understand him wanting to move in other directions. He's getting cast in a whole bunch of stuff. So I understand him wanting to open that bracket up. And I think he was talking about he's a little bit disappointed that Drax hasn't had more of a chance to kind of shine.
I kind of agree with him on that, though, because I did see that tweet that he put out. I mean, other than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where he had that speech with Mantis, he was talking about his family and stuff like that, he really hasn't had a ton of character development, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. And you know, he's a character that could have done with, like, honestly could have done with one of these like Disney Plus shows that we're using to like expand other characters.
Yeah.
He really could have benefited from something like that. But apparently he's going to be done with the role, although he is all for and has actually put his favour out there of another actor picking up the role of Drax to do like a Drax solo thing. Maybe like him in his younger years sort of thing. So which is interesting, having put that out there. You know, it'd be interesting to kind of see if that did happen. But that's a little bit off, like 2022. I think late 2022 is when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out.
Something like that.
No, not even 2023. May 5th, 2023. So we've got him around for a while. He's still around for the next couple of years at least. Try to fix Inhumans before going with Eternals. Yeah, I don't think they were ever going to do that after the way that show bombed. I think Marvel set it on fire and rolled it down a hill away from them. Like we're just going to pretend that didn't happen, and we're going to go over here.
My thing with Eternals is like, all right, so Eternals was supposed to come out last November.
which means that a trailer should have been ready to release with Black Widow, which should have released back last May. So they have been sitting on a trailer for about a year.
Nitro has not shut up about this Eternals trailer for about
This is
the
very
last
frustrating to me.
year. He's
This
been
is
going
very
on about
frustrating to
wanting
me.
it.
You have been sitting on a trailer for this movie. Just show the dang thing, man. Just show it.
You have been going on about this trailer for the last year. Like, I want the Eternals
frustrating.
trailer. Show us the Eternals trailer. It's about time for the Eternals trailer.
All right. Hey, did you hear the news? The quick news that dropped yesterday.
Hmm.
So Midnight Suns. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear anything about
Yeah.
Midnight Suns.
So they're talking about doing a Midnight Suns movie.
Nice.
Yeah. So you got Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Blade, Hannibal King, which I don't know a ton about. Neither Hellstrom as well, but Ghost Rider and Scarlet Witch.
Makes sense. A lot of those characters are the big supernatural characters. It would make sense to go that path with them and get them a bit more exposure. Some of them too. So that could be interesting. Actually, I'd be up for a Midnight Suns. If you like your supernatural Marvel stuff, that's your alley right there.
Yeah. So this just started like early pre-production or whatever, and they're talking about Mephisto possibly and Blackout being part of it, but
It's Mephisto.
We don't know.
It's Mephisto.
Everything is Mephisto. The TV is Mephisto.
I like. Of course, they're talking about Mephisto. Because everyone's mad that we did WandaVision, and like you never got Mephisto, and
Yeah.
everybody kept expecting Mephisto. I was like, that's the thing as well, though. I'd like to point out, like, at no point did they ever mention he was going to appear in it, or Doctor Strange, or anything. We are the ones that did all this stuff. Which Ghost Rider is part of it.
I don't know if they've announced that yet. I doubt it will be Johnny Storm, honestly, since they've had 2 movies for that, and everybody's kind of somewhat familiar with Johnny Storm's.
You mean Johnny Blaze?
Johnny Blaze, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Johnny Storm.
I'm going to say
so
Johnny
sorry.
Storm. I'm like, that's Fantastic Four. I'm like, that'd be a really interesting
Late
twist.
Friday night Apex sessions. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I'm still reeling from that. Anyways, it's probably going to be a new one, like the one that they introduced on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I can see it being Robbie Reyes because
Yeah,
he's the one they're really pushing in the comics still. He's the one that's
Yeah.
been doing stuff with the Avengers in the comics. He's their like current Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketchum and all that is kind of like Danny Ketchum like kind of went to the back burner for quite a while. So I can still see them trying to do Reyes again, which I'm all for personally. He's a cool character.
Yeah,
he's
I could put the
interesting.
Danny one, I think, like in the 90s. I think
Yeah.
That was Danny.
Yeah, he was the one that everyone thinks of, like with the chains
Yeah.
and the spikes and all. It's actually Danny Ketch. It's not Johnny
Yeah.
Blaze that most people think of. Johnny Blaze, obviously the originator of the current Ghost Rider. There was one before him, but it was a totally different concept. But Reyes is their current one, so I fully believe it to be him.
Yeah.
Alright, but I think that's it for our news. I just wanted to hit some of those. Most of that stuff's not new news. Most people have probably talked about it, but we've not had a chance to actually sit and go into a lot of it. So I wanted to just kind of throw out our thoughts and feelings on it.
Yep. There we go.
So right before we dive into our Invincible chat, let me just also do a little bit of plugging for upcoming shows. So last Sunday of the month, we are going to be back with our Indie Comic Book Club. We're going to be looking at Spencer and Locke. From David Pepose is the writer. Part of the reason we're doing this, we weren't going to do this one this month. We were actually going to do Invincible to match up with the show, but we've actually had an amazing opportunity, if you've not heard, to actually interview David Pepose, the writer of Spencer and Locke. So Indie Comic Book Club, we're going to be doing that last Sunday this month, following up by the first Sunday of next month. We are going to be talking with David Pepose. We're going to talk to him regarding Spencer and Locke from our Indie Comic Book Club. We're going to talk to him about Scouts Honor, his current series that is literally just finished, which you can go to your local comic book store and check it out. It's a 5-issue run, and that's the series done. I read issue 1 last night, starting to get into it. Thoroughly enjoyed it, really excited to see where it goes. From what he said as well, issue 1 is an easy step into it, and it starts to really kick off in the next few issues. So I'm all for that, so go and check that out and getting prepped for that, because we're going to go into talking about that, as well as upcoming projects like the OZ, which is a weird gritty war like take on the Wizard of Oz. The issue 1 is out and available from his site, and then obviously his next one coming out after that is going to be Grand Theft Astral, which is still coming soon. So we're going to be delving into talking about all that stuff, but there's a bunch of stuff there to check out, so definitely look at getting Spencer Unlock if you want it for the Indie Comic Book Club and to delve into it, and Scouts Honor issues 1 to 5. So you can really delve into the conversation with us in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to shout that out.
Yeah, I'm excited about that Spencer and Locke thing, man. The art in that is phenomenal.
Yeah, Spencer Unlock, the art is phenomenal, and really the pitch of it is, it's basically like if you grew up with Calvin and Hobbes, like what happens if Calvin grew up into a gritty noir detective,
Yeah.
but Hobbes was still hanging around. Hey CV, how's it going? Welcome on in.
Maybe.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my hair from the charity stream. But, and I mean, it's clearly like Spencer and Hobbes. It's clearly Calvin and Hobbes, sorry. It's like, because you can see that kind of art style when it flashes back to his childhood.
Would you almost say Spencer and Hobbes?
Yeah, because I got Calvin and Hobbes and Spencer and Locke in my head, so I'm like interchanging them now. But it's
Calvin
clearly
and
like,
Locke, Spencer and Hobbes.
but it's clearly like got the Calvin and Hobbes feel, the childhood feel, and that's clearly been a big inspiration for it. I will warn this, by the way, it's like, even though it is based on that stuff, it does get gritty and real right away.
Yeah.
Like, not in the sense of like there's gratuitous violence or swearing or anything like that, in the sense of like that, oh, it's going over the top. It's like, it's really hitting, hard hitting stuff. Like, Spencer comes from an abusive home, and you start to see clips of that happening. Like, he is a grizzled detective that clearly has some mental issues going on and some like PTSD stuff that he's dealing with, and it really delves into that stuff. So there's a lot of rough adult themes in it, I guess is the best way to kind of describe it. It's not your typical like adult thing of like that, oh, you're going to see, you know, there's going to be cussing and you're going to see boobs, you know. It's not like that 18 rating. It's a bit more real and hard hitting. So if you do pick it up, just be prepared for that. But I've enjoyed the little bit of it I've read so far, and from what I've heard from everyone that's kind of checked it out, it's well worth it to get into. It's one of the best comics that came out a few years ago, when the year it was released. So definitely check that out. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there. Alright, shall we delve into some Invincible?
Do it. We're only an hour in. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, that's about right. We usually do news and rambling for an hour and then do an actual hour
We've
review.
been this for a while, so you got to give us a break, right?
Yeah, you got to give us time to get back into the swing of things. So right now, if you're in chat and you have not seen Invincible Season 1 on Amazon Prime, this is your spoiler warning. This is your warning that everything going forward is going to be spoilers, and not just for this, but for the comic series as well. We are going to eventually cover Invincible on the Indie Comic Book Club. This will have spoilers for like the first couple of volumes of Invincible, and they don't hold back on it. Wait, there's going to be spoilers? Yeah, look, you've been here for our reviews before. You know we go into spoilers. We're not going to fill an hour rambling about non-spoiler stuff. It just does not.
Extremely detailed spoilers here. That's what we do.
Look, you know it by now. If you've been watching our channel for any length of time, you know that we can't hold our water. You know that we ramble and we're pretty much terrified we're going to let stuff slip we're not meant to be letting slip.
Yeah.
So we never do a non-spoiler review. So if something slips, we've given you fair warning.
Yeah.
But like literally from episode 1, there's a massive.
There's Luke Skywalker's dad. Did I just ruin that for somebody?
For real, by the way, for absolute real, I spoiled my mom on that.
Are you serious?
I was talking to my mom. I can't even remember what the conversation was. It was a random conversation. I was talking about like stuff that's became pop culture, I think. I can't even remember the full conversation. I said, you know, like Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's dad. And she went, yes?
Oh no, dude.
And I'm like, tell me you're kidding.
Oh no.
Like, that's not even like a geek thing. That's a pop culture thing. That's like everyone knows that Darth Vader is
knows that. Yeah. Oh
and I said, I'm guessing you don't know that Luke and Leia are brother and sister as well. She went, they are?
Oh, your mom's so sweet.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, Neo Spider.
Oh.
Marley the dog died. Oh no.
Sorry, bro.
I'm so sorry, man. That's so sad. I'll just listen, let you guys convince me to watch it and then decide not to watch it since I already know the entire storyline.
Yeah, so he kind of like watches like he does cliff notes of basically all the shows. And then if the cliff notes like pique his interest enough, then he'll actually watch the show.
I love Locke's comment there. I just seen it. It's like you could easily spend 15 minutes on Omni-Man's mustache.
We'll talk about the mustache because
The mustache is amazing.
One thing bothered me about the mustache. I feel like I need to. I feel like as the resident mustache.
I love the fact you feel like you've got an authority to speak on it now.
An authority. I absolutely have an authority to talk about mustaches, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about that today.
Yeah. Oh, ads like. Oh, that's not crazy. He was referencing the book. Oh, he was referencing Marley and Me. Oh, okay.
Dude.
I thought he was talking. I thought his dog had actually died. I'm like, oh no. Ads. I'm pretty sure.
Went down very fast.
Yeah. I'm gonna say ads. I'm fairly certain my mom doesn't know who Anakin is, let alone the fact that Darth Vader's Anakin. My mom, I would like to say, is not a geeky person, but like honestly, stuff goes over her head. I hate describing her as a bit of a ditz, but she kind of is. It's probably the best and sweetest way to describe it. It's like, and I love my mom to bits. She's an amazing woman, but 100% a ditz. Like literally, some of the stuff she does. Like, what was it my? They went into a grocery store around about Christmas time. And my dad went. It's like, oh look, there's penguins, and she went, where? There's so many things I can tell you that are wrong about what happened there. You know. First of all, 1, why are you looking up for penguins? 2, why are you looking up inside of a grocery store for penguins? Even if they were in the air, they wouldn't be inside the building. But I love her to bits. She is hysterical. But yeah, I ruined like one of the biggest movies of all time for my mom. It isn't completely off base. For a flightless bird, it kind of is caffeine. For like the most popularly well-known flightless bird.
That is true. That's a true statement.
But alright, let's do it. Let's get into this for Invincible. We're going into all 7 episodes of this. We're going full spoilers for this. This is not your kids' animated show, 100%.
It is definitely not. As we go through this, I'm going to find it hard not to compare this to The Boys. But
yeah, it's definitely got a gritty, real take on it.
Yeah.
I think The Boys is a bit harder to watch because it is real, and it's a lot grittier. Like Invincible still has heroes and it still has hope.
Yeah. And they embrace that. They embrace the tropiness of superhero. Superhero
Boys
culture.
is completely like it's all BS. They're crap. We're crap. They're awful. We're kind of awful as well. We're just not as awful as they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so there's still levity in Invincible at least, which is nice.
Yeah, there's way more like hardcore content in the Boys.
Oh yeah,
too.
absolutely.
This is way less tame. I mean, way more tame rather.
Yeah, it's way more tame because like the violence is very over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of it. Like where The Boys is like over the top in everything. Like like in Invincible, you get a bit of cussing and stuff. You don't get any like sex or nudity. You do, but the violence is like. But it's, when you're talking about superpowered beings, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense.
You know what I mean? Because like I've talked about it. If you listen to me talk about Superman in the show before, I've said that we underestimate the fact that Superman has to walk through a world of tissue paper.
Yeah.
Because he could literally snap someone by accident just by shaking their hand or like putting his hand on them. You know what I mean? Like patting the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My whole thing is. And I know I've said this a couple of times, but I feel like if Superman really existed, if it was a dude who lived on Earth that could literally do anything he wanted, he has unlimited power, basically. He could do anything he wants. Dude, he would be an absolutely awful person. Well, let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He would be an absolutely awful person, and he would murder at will.
Well, why do you think...
I'm a bit cynic, but...
But why do you think there's so many like alternative versions of Superman that are like, what happens if Superman goes off the rails? Like Injustice, like probably the most popular one. Why is there so many versions of that? Even other versions of it, like we get, like we talked about The Boys, like Homelander and stuff. Because that amount of power corrupts.
Yeah.
Especially
if you're a butthole.
You know, and full spoilers as well. We see that from Omni-Man in this show as well. Like the fact of like he's probably even worse because like he's full blown faking heroism.
Yeah.
Until the right moment to reveal, I'm not who you think I am.
That last episode, I know, Neo, you said something about it earlier, but holy
cow, that
dude.
Last episode was so hard to watch. The fight between Invincible and Omni-Man, yeah.
When he's beating the brakes off of his son. Whew. Yeah, that's hardcore.
Yeah. It's like... It's such a rough show, but let's get started on it anyway.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Mark Grayson is our main character. He is the character of Invincible.
Steve Yeun, voiced by Steve Yeun.
Yeah,
of
Steve
Walking Dead
Yeun,
fame.
legend by the way. Can we talk as well? We'll talk as we go through it. But the voice casting in this
Voice
is like
casting- All right.
perfection. It is
I-
so spot on.
I do a lot of hyperbole. That's just me. That's just my nature. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I think casting J.K. Simmons for Omni-Man is probably some of the best casting in animation
Mwah.
history.
Perfection.
It was literal perfection.
That
Literal
is on level of him being cast as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man. Like, you know how everyone says, like, that's J. Jonah Jameson, it's perfect? Like, literally, that's Omni-Man. Like, he was perfect at that role.
Yeah.
Sorry there, Chosen, when we try to keep it family friendly, so is cancelling out your cussing. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
But yeah, the casting in this is phenomenal. Like, Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons and the chemistry of them connecting with each other. Sandra Oh. We even got Mark Hamill in here. We got what's his name? That played they played the guy that's the head of the organization.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I've literally,
face.
I've completely blown him. Sorry, the casting is insane. Yeah, no worries, Chosen One. Sorry, our bot set up to keep it family friendly, so any cussing it blocks. But you're absolutely right though. The casting was insane for this, man. You are on point.
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins, that's it.
Yeah,
He
that's
plays Cecil, that's it. He was,
Pictures of Omni-Man.
yeah, it's like picture of that. He was perfect casting. Seth Rogen freaking shows up as Alan the Alien at one
Dude,
point.
he crushed it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, the casting is phenomenal in this show.
I found myself constantly looking up the people behind the voices because I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. That voice sounds familiar, and it was people that I've known from previous, the voice. It's the same thing with anime, but yeah. It was really cool,
but
man.
like you know these actors from a million things.
Yeah, like Clancy Brown. Everybody knows him.
Yeah, Clancy
you know.
Brown is freaking
Yeah.
Damien. Was it Damien Darkblood or something like that? I can't
He
remember
was
his
a
last
couple
name.
characters, yeah, but yeah, Damien Darkblood,
Yeah.
the demon detective.
Oh, you hear Damien Darkblood though, and it's like, yeah, that's Clancy Brown. Like, there's
Yeah.
no disputing that's Clancy Brown's voice. It's like, oh,
You had the dude from Rick and Morty. He plays Morty.
yeah.
Justin
Roiland was in it.
So
as well.
he played a couple characters.
Which I'd like to point out that when he plays that college kid in like episode 4 or something like that, 100% you're like, yeah, that's Justin Roiland. It sounds like Morty.
I agree, Lucksteady. I think Clancy Brown is phenomenal voice actor. And he should get all the voice all the voice gigs.
Yeah, Clancy Brown is a phenomenal actor, period, but his voice acting is superb. I'm like, I'm all for it. I love Clancy Brown's acting. He's amazing. The cast in this was just, I cannot talk about how great the cast was enough.
Yeah.
I was blown away when I think I posted about it when it first got announced. Like, nobody was talking about the show, and I'm like, look at this cast. If you're not checking this out just for the casting, you are missing something. Like, there's no way this many awesome people are together and you're not going to get something worth seeing.
Well, even the Guardians of the Globe, like their voice cast and their chemistry was awesome. I love it.
For the whole episode they're in.
Well, I mean the new Guardians of the Globe. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, the new Guardians. I was going to say, yeah, the Guardians of the Globe like die in
immediately,
episode
but
1.
Speaking of.
But yeah, the new Guardians and stuff, like the former, like, was it Teen Team? Which I love the fact they just rip a Teen Titans thing there. It's like, Teen Team were the 4th most popular team in the world.
And let's be super transparent. They are legit a direct ripoff of the Justice League. Like, 1-to-1.
Oh, yeah.
Would you not agree?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%, yeah. Chosen One saying, for once the government is not a passive actor and plays a significant role. Cecil's character is really interesting. Yeah, like, Cecil was a phenomenal character. Like, Walter Goggins playing Cecil in the organization is just like, it's spot on how heavily involved they are. Yeah, Mr. Krabs is an Invincible. I did not see that ending of episode 1 coming. See, that's the thing. The ending of episode 1, I knew it was coming eventually. I didn't know it was coming that soon. Like, I already knew that twist that Omni-Man like turns. He's not a hero. I knew like he's a Viltrumite and he's there to conquer Earth, not to save it.
Yeah, should we give a backstory of who he is? Like,
yeah, let's go into that anyway.
It's basically the story.
Well, let's go into the main character and then delve into his dad, because we've not even talked about Mark yet, and he is Invincible. He is the main character.
Yeah.
So Mark Grayson's our main character. When we join him at the very start of it, he doesn't have his powers. He is, though, the son of the most powerful hero on Earth, Omni-Man.
Basically, this version's Superman.
Yeah.
This continuity's Superman.
Yeah, so basically this guy is Superman, and he's the son of Superman and a regular woman. What's his mom's name? I can't even remember her name. But she's played by Sandra Oh.
Debbie Grayson.
Debbie, that's it, Debbie, thank you. So, like, Omni-Man, or Nolan, and Debbie have Mark. He starts to grow up. He's now in high school. He's not getting his powers, but he's desperate to become a hero. He wants to be just like his dad. He wants to be a hero like him.
Yeah.
During the first episode, I love the fact we just jumped straight into it. First episode, partway through, boom, powers. You know, it's like he goes to
It's funny. I love the way that they show how he finds out. He's taking out the trash, and he launches the trash bag into space, and he's like, "Oh well, guess my powers came in."
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like he launches it, and I just love the fact it becomes a joke in the next episode as well. With like the characters we see at the start of this one. But yeah, so he gets his powers, and he talks about wanting to fly and stuff like that. He tells his dad. His dad seems very apprehensive.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
But Mark decides he's going to try out his powers. He's going to test his flight, so he climbs out on the roof at his bedroom window and steps off. And again, I love the fact there wasn't the whole fall and like I need to learn my powers. He just I can fly.
Yeah.
I need to learn to control it, but I can fly. And he loses control and he ends up like flying into space practically, and then passes out because there's no oxygen and falls back to Earth, which is really cool. Like I preferred that to just the falling and not able to fly.
Yeah, jumping off the house and hitting the ground.
But his dad decides he's going to be the one to teach him stuff and connect with him. We get to meet some other heroes we'll go into as he starts to connect with Teen Team and other heroes his own age. But his father, Omni-Man, as we said, is the greatest hero on Earth. He's an alien from another planet. He's a Viltrumite from Viltrium. And talks about, we see him telling Mark his backstory. About the fact that the Viltrumites go out, they're superpowered beings, and they go out to other planets to help them, to help their societies, their communities, to make the worlds better places. And he's the one that ended up on Earth. Hey, Yankee Benny, how's it going? Yeah, all new looking here. We're reshaking things up.
Trying.
But yeah, so he tells him about this amazing stuff that they do, which is of course what inspires Mark. He wants to be a hero like his dad, doing all this stuff. And then everything starts to go downhill, as at the end of episode 1, the Guardians of the Globe, other heroes we see fighting with Omni-Man at the very start, who are literally the Justice League.
Yeah,
like
literally a 1-to-1.
Literally 1-to-1. There's a Superman-esque character, a Wonder Woman, a Flash, a Green Lantern, an Aquaman,
and there's
Batman.
Also and he actually, so in one of the episodes, Omni-Man goes down the list and is talking about each individual one and the characteristics he's giving to the characters. Or he's basically, it's like a nod and a wink at the actual DC characters.
Yeah, it's like literally, no, we're just going to use the Justice League and just change their names and look so that, but it's clearly them. But they all get gathered to like their base, and they all ask the Batman character, like, why did you call us here? And we followed him from like what he was doing, and he clearly got the call as well. He's like, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere we see Red Rush, their Flash character, pushing the Superman allegory out the road as Omni-Man comes in with a punch and just misses.
Yeah.
We have no idea why, but he starts beating on him, and this is not even a fight.
No.
This is a massacre.
Yeah, he literally brutally murders the entire group.
He destroys him, and it starts literally with him grabbing Red Rush's head between his hands and just crushes it. And that literally sets the tone of gore for this series.
Yep.
And he does it with the rest of them. Hey, Mountaineers coming in with their resub. Thank you so much. Another month as members of the Stan Clan. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. But yeah, so he massacres them. He like decapitates one. He like cuts one in half. He literally brutally destroys the Guardians of the Globe. Yeah, I seen there was no audio for that. I don't know why, Locke. Nothing's muted, so I don't know why it's... More tech issues, yay!
Yay!
For more of a reconciliation between
Yeah, I
Amber
was too. But I mean, I think it is cool when they don't always necessarily wrap up stuff with a bow, you know?
But yeah, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want the stuff of Mark and Amber. Like, that dragged on way too long for me. That's my one complaint with
Agreed.
the show. Like, they dragged the backside out of it, and then at the very end, when it's like, oh my goodness, I was so worried that you literally broke up with him 10 minutes ago.
I know.
Like, just drop it. This has been dragging on for like 4 episodes. It's not enjoyable to watch.
Well, and like when he reveals that he's like, dude, I'm invincible. This is why I've been like, I'm literally saving people's lives. She's like, I don't care.
Oh, I got so mad at that. It's like,
come on now, you would really say that in that
Why
situation if that really happened?
why are
you'd
you
be
only
like,
telling me
okay.
now?
I want
Because
you to hang
I'm-
out with me instead of saving people's lives.
like-
Really?
But
Come
even
on,
like that,
really?
like, why are you only telling me now? It's like, because I'm a superhero. They're trying to keep a secret identity.
Yeah, that was dumb. I did not like that.
I'm like, I was not a fan of that at all. I'm like, I can see what they were trying to do with it, but no.
That was frustrating.
But yeah, so the story for Omni-Man turns out, like, he ends up killing the Guardians of the Globe. The whole story of Cecil and Damien Darkblood, the demon detective and stuff like that, is trying to find out what happened to the Guardians.
Yeah, that was cool. I love that.
But
through line.
very early on, I think it's like episode 2 or 3, they're pretty much like, we know it was Omni-Man, but we can't act on it yet. Because it's like, what do we do?
Yeah.
We can't just come outright and challenge him. He's the most powerful man on earth. If the Guardians couldn't stop him, what are we meant to freaking do? You know, like, what are we meant to do to put this guy down? Like, so we're going to have to play it smart. So they literally have to keep it quiet. Like, Cecil, like, even like sends Damien Darkblood back to hell to keep it quiet, because he's like, we need to work this out smart.
Yeah.
Because it turns out, like, we get his whole backstory of, like, the Viltrumites aren't people that come and help. They're an empire that was literally forged in blood and massacre on their own planet, and they then went out and they were spreading themselves. Like, they couldn't take over the universe as quick as they wanted, so what they did was starting to infiltrate one person to a planet.
Yeah.
And letting a Viltrumite destroy a planet at a time.
Yeah, and then basically the goal was either subjection or we will annihilate the entire globe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree, Mountain Nerds. That's what I was getting ready to say. So at first, Cecil, I was like, this dude is a prick. Like, I don't like this. And I guess that was the point. They wanted you to not like him at first.
Yeah.
But, like, in his own way, he definitely grew on me towards the end of the show. I'm like, he's a really good dude.
Yeah, I loved Cecil. I thought he was
a really good dude.
He was such a great character and done so well. Like, it'd be so easy for him to become just a generic, like, government guy who's getting in their way, and, you know, how dare you do this sort of stuff. But he wasn't. Like, you could clearly see, like, yeah, I'm doing stuff that's a bit shady and dodgy, but you understood why he was doing it.
Yeah.
You understood what he was playing. Like, even like that, like, getting rid of Damien Darkblood, like, we can't have you outing him right now. Why he kept Debbie and Mark in the dark about it, it's like, because really, I can't afford this to blow up before we have to have it blow up.
Yeah.
Because we're not ready for it. And it's like, everything he did, I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense. I understand fully. But yeah, it's like, so Omni-Man comes. He's the guy that's here to destroy Earth. This is his thing. We also get a lot of backstory with Mark. As we kind of talked about, let's talk into some of his stuff, because we started talking about Amber and stuff, and the relationship with Amber and Mark. Amber's interesting because Amber's a character from the comics that they gave so much more to. Because she was meant to be, she's in the comics and she does date Mark for a little bit, but she's barely in it. She's a character that doesn't get a lot of build up, a lot of time spent on her, anything like that. She's also a character that they did race swap into the show, which doesn't make a difference. She was white in the comics, they made her black. Doesn't change the character's attitude or personality in any way. I couldn't stick her by the end. Like, don't get me wrong, like, Mark was completely in the wrong in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Like, he was a complete douche to her. He kept abandoning her. I know it was superhero stuff. There was a whole bunch of stuff like that, and it's like, would you two just break up already?
Yeah.
Like you're being a crappy boyfriend, and you're letting him be a crappy boyfriend, and you're just holding a grudge against him. Like, this is not entertaining.
No, it's not.
You're going to break up.
Annoying.
You're going to break up with her. He's going to end up with Atom Eve. If you can't see that from like the first episode, Atom Eve shows up, then you're an idiot. And like that's clearly comic book setup right there. Like, hey, here's a hot superhero chick that you just happen to be fighting side by side with. I wonder if they'll become a couple. You know what I mean? It's like it's clearly setting up them to be a couple.
Yeah.
It's like anyone with half a sense can see that, so let's not waste time on like this will they won't they Amber thing, because it's just irritating. And it is my one complaint about the show, on a show that was so well done in every way.
Yeah.
That just dragged on too long for me.
I think for me, and I know I said it earlier, but just the reveal when he revealed when he was invincible, and she was like, I don't care. I'm like, you would not say that in real life. That would not be a real conversation.
Yeah, your boyfriend's a superhero.
What's that?
It's like your boyfriend's a superhero.
I mean, you would maybe still have a conversation about his time management skills, which they called out in the show. All right, well, let's see what we can do to work around this. Not, I knew you were invincible, and I still don't care. That's no. I hated that twist. That was so dumb.
Which I think the only thing that made that worse was the fact of that right after they had that reveal and they split up, like he had the fight with Omni-Man. And then after it, she comes running over to his house like, oh my goodness, I was so worried about you. Like, you literally just told this guy, I know you're invincible, I already knew, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you at his house?
Yeah.
Go away. Like, he has real friends who are here for him. Like, even, like, William are literally there. Like, go away. I don't know, it irked me so much. Like, it was not an enjoyable part of the show. Every time she was on screen, I was like, can we just get him in the costume to go fight something again? Because at least he's away from her then. But
yeah,
if it went for like 2 episodes or something, fair enough, and she was just like kind of a background character, but they weren't dating. But yeah, the way it dragged out got to me.
It's frustrating, yeah.
Yeah. Although, shout out to his other like non-heroed friends though. I absolutely adore William. He was such a cool character, like his best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the gay kid.
I can't remember who voiced him.
I can't remember. Like, he was hysterical. He was a brilliant character.
Yeah, I agree.
He was done so well. He was a perfect connection for him. Probably quite interestingly, and I don't get to say this often when it comes to comic book and superhero stuff, but it was interesting having a gay character who wasn't like that was his personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was gay, but okay, he's gay.
Yeah, and you don't honestly find that out until like almost over halfway through the show almost.
Yeah, like you find out his stuff, like there's little hints and stuff, but like he properly like is a guy that you see in like episode 4 or something, I think it is, that one happens. And it's like, but I love the fact that's not his personality, because comic book stuff is a really bad issue of like that. Hey, you're gay. This is your personality.
Yeah, this is who you are now.
You're going to be gay in every way possible.
You.
Every sort of way that you can think a gay person should act, whether or not it's stereotypical or actually how they would act.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's nice that they created like he's just a dude. He's friends with Mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know. That's it. And I love the fact there wasn't like a weird like love angle there as well of automatic like, oh, he's a gay friend so he must like him as well. Like, no, they're just friends.
They're just friends.
I love how they handled it, because it's very rare for comic book stuff to handle that stuff well.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, having grown up in an era of like the 90s and early 2000s where that stuff wasn't handled well.
Mm-hmm. Like,
you know, like just women in general, sexuality, race, all these things had so many issues in comics for so long. It was nice that it was handled well, and his character was so enjoyable. Like he was a brilliantly done. Like even the reaction when he finds out that Mark is invincible. It's like, and he does the whole fanboy freak out thing at it. It's like that. Oh my goodness, you're a superhero.
That's hilarious.
It's like, it's so well done. Then of course we have Mark makes friends with the team who become Guardians of the Globe. Some interesting stories with them as well. That's when we get a lot of the great kind of background stuff happening, because we start off with characters such as like Robot,
Voiced exquisitely, I may say, by Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, brilliantly done by Zachary
From
Quinto.
Heroes fame.
From Heroes and from Star Trek.
That's true.
But he did a magnificent job as Robot.
Dude, he was awesome.
Which we'll get into his story a little bit later, because his story isn't all that it seems.
Hmm.
Then we had, who was it that voiced him? Rex Explodes.
Oh, it was the Jason Mantzoukas. I don't know if I probably butchered his last name, but he's a comedy actor, but he did an awesome job.
Yeah, he did an awesome job of playing, like, let's put it, the jackass sort of character that Rex Explode is, who we also see, like, is dating Adam Eve at the very start of the show, and then, like, sleeps with another one of their colleagues, Duplicate. 3 of her.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they don't sleep together, but they have some sexy shower time, and he comes out, and then she comes out, and then she comes out, and then she comes out, and...
So I will say I really like the way that they did the new roster for the Guardians of the Globe, or the teen team, or whatever they want to call them.
Mm.
Like, they're heroes, but they, like, some of them are jerks.
Mm.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
they're real people that just happen to have superpowers, you know?
Yeah, like, I love the fact that they all have proper characters and stuff, and they're
Yeah.
all interesting. Like, Rex is interesting even though he is a jackass. Like some of the other characters that come in, like one that I absolutely love and he spend a good bit of time on is Monster Girl,
Mm-hmm.
who's like a little girl who shows up for the auditions and turns into this big beast, and then you find out, like, every time she turns into the monster, she de-ages.
Yeah.
So she's actually, like, what was it, like 24 or something, but she looks like she's like 8.
Yeah.
Because every time she turns into it, he was Steelbeak in the new DuckTales. Oh, was he? Nice. I did not know
I
that
didn't
one.
know that. I haven't seen the new DuckTales.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've not seen all of it though. But yeah, so like she's a phenomenal character who becomes a big player in it and a big personality. Duplicate, I'll be honest, she's kind of just there. She's
Agreed.
she's a background of a background character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the coolest thing is her in fight scenes. The fact that like every duplicate seems to get killed,
Yeah.
and she just always makes one just in time to save herself. Who was
Got
it?
time now. It ended.
Yeah. Who's the? Is it Shrinking Ray?
Yeah,
Like,
Shrinking Ray.
The girl called Ray who could like shrink down, like Shrinking Ray. Some of the names of these characters are amazing as well.
Yeah.
She again was a kind of more background character, but she was kind of cool. Powers, a cool extra member of the team. And then the other big personality that came into the new Guardians was Black Samson.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stick Black Samson even when he's meant to be on good terms. Like,
Yeah.
that last episode when like freaking Rex Explode goes to wash the last of the Guardians' blood off their base.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
No, it's like he goes off at him and stuff like that, and then the rest of the Guardians all like standing, hanging as if they're going to go at him. It's like, okay, now we're like a team. I'm like, you've just been a jackass. That did nothing. I'm
Yeah.
like, he was so awful. The only character arc he had is that he used to be part of the Guardians,
Mm-hmm.
and no longer was because he didn't have powers. And so he had like mechanical enhancements. So, like, it was like an Iron Man suit, but it was mostly like his chest and arms. So kind of like Jack's from Mortal Kombat. It was like mostly the arms and stuff. And then they had a big fight with like a crime boss and like his lackeys that he'd hired. One of them being Battle Beast, who lived up to his name.
Dude.
And somehow,
that was the
we'll
most brutal fight.
yeah, that character I want to see back again.
Dude, that for real, I think for me, that scene, I know we're kind of like going all over the place, but that scene where Battle Beast is fighting the whole Guardians of the Globe, and he just wrecks shop on everybody, including Invincible.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's more brutal than when Omni-Man killed the whole like superhero team. Just the brutality of that fight was just,
Oh yeah, it was really rough. But like somehow during that fight, like Black Samson gets the crap beat out of him and gets his powers back. Never fully properly explained. He just does.
Nope. Yeah, and I didn't understand it at that time it happened, like that he had gotten his powers back. I was like, oh
No, I thought he died.
Back.
I thought he died at the end of that. I legitimately thought he'd been folded,
Yeah.
like literally folded.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the new Guardians have got some interesting stories we'll go into. Do you want to start trying to take it kind of like episode by episode a little bit then and talk about
Yeah, we can do that.
the beats of it? Just because we are kind of jumping all over the place, I want to kind of let's straighten out a little bit because we've talked characters, we've talked voice actors.
We've kind of gone over the first episode. I mean, the first episode is just an introduction of the nuclear family, Omni-Man, his mom, and Mark, and then the backstory of Omni-Man killing the Guardians of the Globe. Like, what's up with that?
Like that's the introduction to that and setting up that Omni-Man's not quite what he seems, which I was really intrigued that they did that at the end of episode 1 because that doesn't happen until like volume 3 of the comic. Off subject, had to laugh when you mentioned Jax. I just remember something Kano says in the new movie. That's a
Dude,
whole.
Kano is awesome in that movie.
He's the only thing awesome in that new movie.
He's one of the only things awesome. There are a couple other things, but yeah, that movie was rubbish.
That movie was awful. It was so freaking bad. Like that's a whole other talk. I'm not even going to get.
When the original Mortal Kombat's might rival this one. Like,
the first one.
As far as being better.
Like, don't get me wrong, Annihilation is still awful, but the first Mortal Kombat from the
Annihilation's-
90s is better than this. I will stand on that mountain. I will stand on it. Like
I might have to agree with you. I don't know. I gotta watch the new one again.
It's just better. That's a whole rant for another time. We're not going to get into Mortal Kombat because that's a ranting episode in itself.
So the first one again, introduction of the Graysons, and Omni-Man murdered the entire basically Justice League. The second episode goes into we need to figure out why he did this, and this is the introduction of Cecil, played by Walter Goggins, who's the head of this organization that basically helps the superheroes and helps monitor the superheroes and give them the technology that they need to do their jobs. There's this huge invasion from this alien race on Earth, and that's where you kind of get to see Invincible coming into his own.
That was so good.
Working with the Guardians of the Globe. Invincible gets suited up in his new suit.
Yeah.
I think for the first time. And earlier in the episode, it showed him trying to do a little bit of crime fighting, and his dad's trying to help him out, and then he meets Mark Hamill's character, who's basically the outfitter. Literal outfitter of all the superheroes. He provides their superhero suits. But yeah, so that basically the nutshell of episode 2 is basically here's Invincible and here's what he can do, and he's being trained basically by his dad.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm just pulling up the episode list just so I can.
Yeah, one of the cool things about
what's the way that happens, and so like all the stuff of like him like doing the training with his dad, that's all still episode 1. So episode 2, the alien invasion.
That's right.
So the reason it happens is because the Guardians are out, but Omni-Man's actually down. He was down after the fight. He's out of commission, so Mark goes in and tries to like basically fend off these invading aliens, and learns like it's not just as simple as jumping into a fight and being a hero.
Yeah.
Like he is getting ripped apart. Like even the old lady, he tries to save people, they die. He tries to save this old lady, and she gets massacred, and he tries to take her to a hospital and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's when like the new Guardians, who are the team at the time, like show up and start doing the fight, start kind of taking on these aliens who are really cool. Like their world is like time runs faster, so like they end up like dying of old age when they're in our world.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like
they play it for laughs a little bit. It's pretty funny.
And they retreat to their world, and they then come back, and it's like because like it went so badly that fight, like they literally only won because they had to retreat. And then they come back, and it's like they've had a day. How can they amass all this stuff in a day? And they're like, well, yeah, it's been decades for them. They've had decades to plan for another invasion. And then it comes down to, I think, a third invasion. And they find out like it's the devices on the arms are like stopping their aging, so they have to destroy those. Mark sees Atom Eve getting like beat down by them, and like releases his rage that he's got, lays into them, and starts beating them. And then as one starts to beat into him, Omni-Man shows back up awake again, and we get our second hint that Omni-Man isn't quite the hero.
Yeah,
as he basically takes the last of them through their portal and goes to their world and destroys it.
Yeah, so the way that it's shown on TV, he just disappears, and then it goes back to Mark and his mom talking about them, and they're not worried. His mom's like, yeah, he'll be back for dinner type stuff. Like this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Omni-Man is on their universe, and he's been there for like 8 months, and he is literally murdering every single person
on the planet and destroying the planet at the same time. Like,
he literally commits
eradicating
genocide
them.
on them. It's like and
Yeah.
he's doing it with so much simplicity, but I don't want to say so much glee because there's not enjoyment of it, but like he's just like, yeah, this is what you deserve. Like he's
Yeah,
handing out a punishment, like how dare you, and he even kind of
It's a
references it of
thing. It's a very like I'm doing this for a specific reason type thing.
yeah, and he even kind of references it of like that. I'm doing this because you dare to step onto my planet,
Mm-hmm.
but not as like a defender, but it's our first hint of like this is my bounty. This
Yeah,
is my
yeah.
planet. I'm taking it. You're not going to take it from under me, sort of thing.
Yep.
Which is a really interesting sort of thing. As we then talked about going into episode 3, we start getting the building of the new Guardians of the Globe. They start to take their position and are starting to train. While they're doing that, Mark and Atom Eve are called into a fight because Mark's not being part of the new Guardians because his dad wants to train him. And Atom Eve refuses because of all the stuff with Rex and Duplicate, which makes sense. So Walter says, well, they're all still in training and preparing themselves for this. I need you two to come in and fight this guy. It's like at Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, delving into that, he started dating Amber, and has to leave her. His first time kind of leaving her when she's come over to study. And while that's all going on, we also get hints of like Omni-Man doing like the funeral and the speech for the Guardians at their funeral.
Yeah.
And we start to really delve more into Damien Darkblood. He's kind of shown up a little bit, but we now start to see more of him as he delves into. He's basically confident from the get-go that Omni-Man's the only survivor, so he's the one that did it.
Yeah, it's very quick that he suspects Omni-Man as the dude who did it.
Yeah, and then also starts to visit Debbie as well, and starts to kind of hint to her and put the idea in her head that maybe Omni-Man's not who he seems to be.
Yeah, and just from a visual perspective, a visual storytelling perspective, anytime he shows up, before you even see him, you see the other characters like they'll start shivering and then they start blowing out like the what do you
Oh yeah, like the breath gets cold, like the room's
it's
gotten
cold in
freezing.
the room, and then you just see him appear like behind something. It's so cool. Just that little teeny visual clue of him showing up was I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so that was a really interesting kind of introduction to him, and he starts Debbie on her kind of journey of finding out what happened and really starting to suspect Omni-Man of being the one that did it.
Yeah.
Episode 4 then takes a bit of a turn as Omni-Man's refusing to kind of work for Cecil. But Mark says he will, and basically accompany astronauts going to Mars. As they take a trip to Mars and to try and make sure they're okay and they're protected and safe. As they're doing that, they of course get kidnapped.
Of course.
And it actually introduces something that's going to be a bigger factor in the next couple of seasons, I believe, which is like, I can't remember what they're called. They're like face hugger type things, like little things that attach to people. They're being kind of kept at bay on Mars because Martians are like shapeshifters. So whenever they attach to them, the Martians shapeshift their face and they're unable to get away from it. But like now that humans have landed on Mars, there's the risk of them basically being able to leave and take them with them.
Yeah.
And we actually see that happening. Like one of them doesn't get back onto the ship, or gets onto the ship infected. I wasn't really sure how that kind of worked, but
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know how that worked, but there's definitely a shapeshifter on the ship when it returns.
yeah, because everybody seems to come back, but yet there's a human that's still on Mars that's clearly infected, and you see kind of at the end of the series they start hinting that there's an army being produced of these things. They're starting to find hosts, so that's going to become a factor in the upcoming seasons, I believe. So that's kind of like a little step away from everything, a little introduction into other stuff, because you also get like Omni-Man takes Debbie away and they go on a date and stuff like that and go off and do their own thing, where he's trying to basically convince her that he's still who he says he is. In the last few episodes he's really had his temper coming through, and his true personality of this domineering sort of attitude is starting to come through, and it's like the facade's starting to crack now that Mark's powers are showing up. You see a real change in him, and she's very aware of it.
Yeah.
So he takes her away, tries to like win her over, tries to show her everything, Like, here's where we went for our day, and like you even see like Cecil's people fighting with like a dragon or something in the background, and he's like he refuses to get involved because he's with her, and it's that thing of like it starts off looking like it's really good intentioned, but it's not. It's clearly you can see there's something more going on.
Yeah. And like hindsight, looking back on that scene, I'm like, oh yeah, he doesn't care about anybody there.
Yeah, he literally doesn't care about the people, like fighting the
All
dragon.
he cares
like,
about is keeping this facade up between him and his Earth wife. You know.
yeah. I mean, it's that simple, and it's like he literally, like, people are dying behind him, and he legitimately doesn't care.
Yeah.
He honestly couldn't care less.
So, all right. So hopping into episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the detective work by Darkblood is in full motion, right? So that now we get introduced to this new character who was actually introduced earlier on in the series, named Titan, who's basically a criminal under not under boss, but basically a criminal.
Yeah, he's a henchman. He's a henchman for hire, sort of thing. At least.
Yeah, and he's basically he works for, what's that guy? Machine Head. Is his
Machine
name?
Head. Yeah.
Yeah, he works for Machine Head, who is the boss of this city that they live in, the criminal boss, basically that they live in, and he basically enlists Mark to try to help him to get out from under this dude because he wants to help his daughter. Mark sees that he has a family, and he's really trying to get out of the crime and just be with his daughter and stuff like that. So basically, he goes with Titan to confront Machine Head. And Machine Head introduces them to a group of supervillains led by this dude named the Battle Beast. I will say episode 5 is probably one of my favorite episodes.
It's one of the best episodes in the season.
It's one of the best
Absolutely.
episodes.
Absolutely.
So what then transpires is just absolute carnage. Battle Beast wrecks shop on everyone.
The rest, let's be honest, the rest of the henchmen are not needed.
No, they're not. There's dude made of lava. There's another dude. I don't know. Anyways, Battle Beast, who basically looks like a Thundercat with a huge mace, and just add like 1,000 pounds basically, and Superman level strength, like legit.
Yeah.
So he's basically as strong as Superman. Anyways, he proceeds to what looks like murder several of the Guardians of the Globe, including Invincible. Like, it looks like he straight up murders him.
Yeah.
He slams the mace down in his chest and basically opens up his stomach. I mean, it's brutal, dude. It's freaking brutal.
It is brutal. He is so freaking like legit against him. Like, it looks like Monster Girl dies. It looks like Black Samson dies. Invincible is like near death.
Yeah.
Which is so effed up as well because he's looking up. And you see Omni-Man kind of in his blood vision. Omni-Man's watching down. Like, his dad's watching this happen to him.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of, like, is he imagining it or is he actually there? And it's never answered, but you're pretty confident he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's so messed up. They don't even defeat him. They just manage to kind of chase him off.
Well, no, he just goes, this isn't worth it because this is not worth it because they're so beneath me, like, talent-wise. I'm just going to leave. And he just portals out. He's like, peace.
Yeah, but they kind of chase him off with that because he does that thing of like, oh, you're not even worth my time sort of thing. And it's like, and he just leaves. And I'm like,
dude, it's hilarious.
You could have literally murdered them.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
But in the process of it, like, the big crime boss gets taken out as well, Machine Head, who is a really cool character. Like, his voice work is amazing because they make it all distorted and mechanical and, like, kind of techno vibe sort of soundy at points, and it's very cool.
Does his voice? I'm trying to find how it does.
But he ends up getting taken out, like, literally destroyed. And during the final fight, when, like, Invincible's lying there dying, like, Titan says, like, yeah, I'm out. Titan, who's enlisted him in this, is basically like, yeah, I'm done, see you, and takes off. And you find out at the end of the episode, probably one of the biggest twists of the season, is that the guy that was like the big issue that was working with Machine Head that they were trying to get rid of so he wouldn't like assist him, like teleport out or anything like that, is actually working with Titan, and Titan becomes the new crime boss of the city.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, when he walked into that his family walks into that office and he's standing there in the suit, I was literally like, dude, no way.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. Like, I thought he'd have just abandoned Invincible. I thought, yeah, he's still a jackass at heart, but No, you had a plan. You literally managed to enlist the heroes to take out the crime boss, so you
Take
could
out
take
your
the
villain.
position.
Yeah.
Like
Jeffrey Donovan, Machine Head. That's who voices him.
he's phenomenal at it, and it's like
Dude, awesome.
it's like, oh man, that was such a cool twist, and then we get also like as part of that we get the latest in the Amber saga, of like his last attempt of him like failing to show up so many times and missing dinner with the family. She works at a soup kitchen, so basically come and help, come and be there, be part of it, show that you actually care, and they even invite Eve to come as well. I know her name's Stephanie, and Atomy is just a hero name. I'm just going to keep calling her Eve because she barely gets called Stephanie at any point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she ends up going there and helping, and they actually start getting a little bit of a friendship as well, because she starts asking her questions, like Eve questions about Mark, because the two of them hang out all the time, unbeknownst to her, the fact of like they're both superheroes, so that's why they spend so much time together. And she ends up getting the call basically that Mark's almost dead. And basically says to her that if he wished he could be here, but she has to go and check in it, and doesn't really reveal what's happened at that point, because what do you say in that moment? You know, it's like a giant alien cat with a mace beat your maybe boyfriend
You
to a
basically
bloody
disemboweled
pulp.
me in front of everybody.
It's like, so of course the next episode starts off with everyone being rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, he's
Because-
medevaced. Literally, Mark is medevaced out.
because amazingly nobody's dead. Like,
They're close to dead, but
Black Samson doesn't die. In fact, he gets his powers back, as we mentioned. Still haven't explained that. Still don't even know what his powers are, just know he's got them back now. Invincible survives, not surprisingly. He's half Ultramite, so of course he survives. He's got his dad's DNA. Monster Girl's kind of hit and miss for a while. Like, it looks like she might not make it.
like, I mean, in the show, it shows like when she is the monster, half of the face is missing. Like half of his face is gone. But when she
Yeah.
goes back to the girl, she got hit in the head really hard. But she's legit brain damage. Like
Yeah, she's
broken
like-
facial bones, everything.
And this is where we really start to get the really play out of robots kind of story.
Yeah.
It's been hinted at a few times throughout the show that he kind of likes Monster Girl. Because there's kind of hints as well that Rex might like her as well, and they kind of have like a bit of banter with each other. But it starts to really get hinted at that Robot really likes her. You start to wonder like how, and you see like he really takes it hard when she goes down and is looking near death in the last episode. So he ends up sending like one of his other like duplicates, one of his other robots, to go and like find this, was it like his rare flower or something like that, and just literally shows up and the thing collapses, and then he walks in the room and realizing like it wasn't him, it was just one of his other like bodies.
Yeah.
Went and got this, and this can be used to help pull her back and all this stuff. And so while that's going on, they're all healing. Basically, Mark decides like, I need a break. So William is going to college, to check out a college and hang out with his boyfriend, big buff dude. I can't remember his name. Try to see if it says here. No, I can't see the name now. But basically he goes to, if you're hungry, check the fridge. Neo, no, that's a dad joke and a half. That.
Wow.
If you are hungry, check the fridge. Wow, Neo, wow.
You should see yourself out, Neo.
Oh, dad joke alert. But yeah, so they go to the college, and he has to go with Amber because he's trying to look at a life with her. I feel bad for Mark because I feel like part of him is legitimately trying. He honestly wants to have a life with her. He's honestly trying
Really
to
is,
have
but,
some
like,
sort of normalcy. But at
He's
the
just
same
one of the most powerful people on the earth, and he has a responsibility.
yeah, he's a hero. It's like that, it's a, not to steal the Spider-Man thing, but great power comes great responsibility. You are literally one of the most powerful beings on the planet. It's like you kind of have a responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they go like with William's boyfriend. They go and take some classes and stuff, and sit in with him, and he's doing like psych stuff. I blame Facebook. Don't blame Facebook, Neil. You brought it here. You're as much to blame, sir. Just saying. But yeah, so it's like they end up going to college, and weird, creepy. I'm obviously the villain, not a villain guy. sitting up the back talking about pushing the human body beyond its limits, how the body's like fallible, how it's going to fail, and how you can upgrade the body and all this stuff. You know, your typical mad scientist you get in superhero sci-fi stuff, who's basically like machines better than organic.
Yeah.
There's always one. And basically you find out he's like kidnapping people off campus and turning them into these cyborg creatures.
He's voiced by what's his face? The dude who played Flash in Justice League. What's his name?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, that's it. He's voiced by Ezra Miller. That dude, that crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
so he is. I forgot about that actually, but yeah, he is. So he ends up creating these cyborgs and stuff like that, and I kind of like this episode, but what I'm about to go into, this is the episode where Mark is the douchiest he has been the entire season, and it's any good person would not do this. I'm just saying, like, I get what the situation he's in, but he wouldn't do this. So Amber's basically one of these cyborgs attacks. Mark, of course, disappears, goes and changes into his Invincible outfit, comes back to fight it, saving William, thankfully, because he was about to get murdered. Because he attempts to, I think, distract one from his boyfriend, and it's like, and the thing charges him.
Yeah.
Which I love the fact of, like, he's literally standing over him, like, holding this thing, and William's in the ground looking up and goes, Mark?
Mark?
Like, which I love the fact of, like, yeah, because if you know the person and you're that close to them, yeah, you're going to recognise who they are. Like, you know, not that I'm going to give that movie any compliments, but it's like the one thing that Green Lantern movie got right.
Yeah.
When Hal's standing in front of Carol and she goes, Hal? And like, you're covering this part of your face. How would you expect me not to know?
He's literally got an outfit on and just a small thing covering his eyes. It's the same person.
I know. It's like, so with that, like, I'm kind of like, I love the fact that he got that, but
yeah.
During that, freaking Amber thinks he just abandoned them, which I'm like, if you know he's a superhero, as you clearly say that you did later,
yeah,
it's like, you just abandoned us. Like, no, I went to get changed.
Exactly.
I'm like, you know, it's like, seriously, you said it, you realised it, like, unless you realised it after this point, which I don't know what he did afterwards that would have done that, but so he goes into a stupor. Amber gets invited to a party by some dude who she kind of wants to hook up with, but it turns out he's got a girlfriend, so why the heck did he invite her to the party? We'll never know.
I know, right? That doesn't make any sense either.
To get her out the road for what's to happen next, because William's boyfriend goes to pick up some drinks and stuff to go to the store. He's on FaceTime with William at the time, and then the phone goes dead. Could see it coming a million miles away, like, yep, he's getting snatched. He then goes to tell his best friend, who he has just found out is a superhero, hey, my boyfriend just went dead on the cam here. It's like, I'm really worried, can you go check on him? And basically gets told, he'll be fine, I can't worry about that right now, I need to go and check on Amber, this girl who I have ignored for literally everything in the world.
Yeah,
I'm not going to ignore so that I can help my best friend whose boyfriend might be in trouble.
Who might be getting murdered right now.
And he just goes off, and I'm like, really? You're going to be that big of a douche right now? Really?
Yeah. Like,
come on, dude. Your best friend is basically like, my boyfriend might be murdered. He might have just been snatched and killed by someone. You know, bearing in mind, they have literally just fought a cyborg earlier that day.
Yeah.
It's like, and don't know who's behind it. There's clearly other stuff going on here. So William, being the awesome character he actually is, decides, I'm going to go investigate myself.
Yeah.
And goes and finds where he was probably snatched to, and finally calls Mark, and Mark goes to ignore the call and goes to almost blow him off again. I'm like, seriously, dude? You literally told him, call me if you find him. He's now calling you. Like, seriously?
Really, dude?
It's like, you're a superhero, be super.
And meanwhile, this evil scientist, Zach Miller, right? Ezra Miller. I don't know why I said Zach Miller. Ezra Miller is basically dismembering people and putting them together as different cyborgs.
Yeah, Invincible finally goes in there and he gets attacked by like 3 of them, so you get the hint of like, oh, he's clearly been doing this for a while. You find William is like strapped up down there, so he's going to be the next experiment. One of the cyborgs comes in, and it's clearly the boyfriend who's been turned into a cyborg. I do love the fact, although when he's starting to go into stuff like that, it's like that. Remember, it's me, it's William. You know, we started dating this, we went and we had sex over here, and it was the best night of my life. And I love the guy's reaction to it. It was like, whoa, that's a bit too much information there, thank you. And I'm like, wow, you're literally just laying it all out in the line and hoping this somehow breaks through to him. But apparently it works, and the guy wakes up. Invincible, I'm not going to lie, is completely useless, because he's literally getting his butt whooped by like 3 of these things. And it isn't until like the boyfriend like changes and like wakes up properly and takes them out, and that it all stops. Invincible then releases William, and he goes and grabs Ezra Miller's character and like starts beating the utter snot out of him. And when he gets up and tries to run away, like Invincible like backhands him and like snaps his jaw off.
Yeah.
And, like, it was kind of horrific when you seen him after, because like, oh, that looked nasty. Ooh, that looks really nasty. Jaw's like down here.
Yeah, he just basically destroys his face.
Yeah, like literally destroys his face. So that was an interesting episode, because it kind of takes us on a little bit of a different detour. And the B story to that one is Debbie pretty much confirms what we've all known at this point, that Omni-Man's the killer. Like, she takes it to Art, like, who does the costumes and stuff, and he looks over it. Because yeah, he was hiding the costume, and Debbie finds it like hidden in the house and is able to smuggle it to him. And he confirms that all the blood on it are some are his, some are the Guardians, and the blood that was on the suit first was the stuff on the fist. So from the first shot was thrown by him. So she goes to that. He also then gets visited by Nolan, who kind of like the whole episode you're just like, yeah, Art's gonna die. We don't see him dead, but there's a good chance he's dead.
Yeah.
Because he goes to like have a beer with him and is very kind of like, what's going on? Why are you being so nervous?
Like, my heart was pounding like 900 miles an hour during that
I'm
scene.
like, oh, you're so dead. He's going to murder you. But we didn't see it, so I don't know officially if Art's dead yet or not. If he's alive, I'll be really shocked though. But so we're going into the last episode, which is basically kind of like a kind of 2-parter. Let me see. Oh yeah, before we get into that as well though, let's talk about Robot Story.
Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah, do you want to go into Robot Story then? Because I've been talking for a bit. Do you want to give Robot Story, or do you want me to?
And I'm gonna have to step out just for a quick second in like 5-10 minutes. Sorry, I have a delivery coming that was not supposed to come right now, and I'm the only person here. So sorry about that, dude.
No worries, man.
Yeah, so Robot, from the beginning of the show, he looks just like a robot, but there are hints that he's more than that. Like, everybody, there's this one conversation that they're having where the Guardians of the Globe like continually are basically saying, "You're just a robot. What do you care?" And like you can tell that there's definitely something more there other than the robot. Mm-hmm. So it's slowly revealed that the robot is basically just the physical avatar of this. I don't know what you want to call it, dude. It's basically it's an adult dude.
Yeah.
But he's in a deformed body, and he's encapsulated in this.
It's a mutation. Like he's not that much bigger than like a fetus, or like a newborn baby. Like he's still at that size, and his body's all deformed and disfigured, and he's basically in a vat of stuff that's keeping him alive.
Yeah, he's encased in this like biomechanical suit where he can telepathically control the robot, basically.
Yeah, because even though his body's messed up, he's like a genius level intellect.
Yeah. So what he's been trying to do is he's been getting samples of blood from Rexplode, who's on the Guardians of the Galaxy, to try to basically build a new body for himself. Which brings in some more characters called the Maulers, who were introduced.
I love the Maulers.
Episode. Yeah, dude, they're awesome. They were introduced in the first episode. So basically, they have the ability to clone themselves. They're crazy, and the thing is, they're crazy intelligent, like very smart, but also dumb at the same time. Like I don't know how that.
Yeah, they're like
in a practical sense, but crazy intelligent when it comes to like science and stuff like that.
They're big meatheads, but like they're experts at cloning technology.
Yeah. So basically, Robot or his the actual guy, Rudy. Rudy is his name.
Yeah, Rudy.
Yeah, he basically hires them to build him a new body, construct a new physical body for himself using Rexplode's DNA. And in exchange for that, he will give them plans to like a control collar, which they'll be able to use on anybody that they want to control that person, right? So basically, towards the end of the series, Rudy basically has them build a new body. It's this kid, maybe like 10, 11, 12 years old, the same age as a monster girl. But again, this is a full-grown adult Rudy, right? He's a full-grown man, but he made himself a body of just like a kid, so he can kind of relate with Monster Girl because he really likes her. So yeah, so that, I mean that's basically the story of Rudy. Not Rudy. Yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Oh my gosh, I said Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But Robot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's Robot's story. So we find out there's this whole backstory of him. He's trying to get them to make the body. The Maulers are amazing. But yeah, and like I do love the fact as well of like once he gets into the new body, like even the way they explain the cloning, like it's not like your mind's going to be transferred in there. It's like it's almost like you're split. So like you're going to be in that body, but you're also going to be in your old body.
Yeah.
And he said that's what we do as the Maulers, so because like we look exactly the same, because we never know, because like knowing one's the clone only causes problems.
Mm-hmm.
Said the problem is though with your case, it's like it's obvious.
Yeah.
Who the clone is and who's the original.
Yeah.
And then the original basically puts a copy of his mind into this body, knowing that he's going to die, which is something I've always been intrigued with cloning stuff, because I've always said that, like, people talk about doing cloning stuff, and I'm like, but it's not you, it's someone taking your place. Mm-hmm. And it literally kind of goes into that, and that's the fact of, like, well, Robot is not setting up a new body for himself to take that place. He's setting a replacement that has his memories. Because the original Robot dies, like, the original character, that deformed body with his original mind dies.
Mm-hmm.
And this new one takes his place, and there's little hints like Monster Girl's not really, it's kind of taking it all in at first because it's a lot of information, and then when they start to see like the big Omni-Man fight and this massive like beatdown happening, she takes his hand, so there's clearly an interest there from both sides.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting to see that explored, because they're both in kind of like younger bodies, but at the same time they're both adults.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's in her 20s, she's like 24, and I'm assuming he's about the same, like 20 something, in his 30s sort of age.
Hey dude, I gotta step away just for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Go for it. Yeah, let me go solo cam just while he's away, just to pull it up. But yeah, so it's like it's definitely interesting. Like his story is definitely an intriguing one to add in, because from the get go they kind of hint that Robot's up to something, but you don't really know what he's up to. Like taking the DNA and the blood and all of that. So it's a really interesting kind of take on the story. But from there we're going to dive into the last couple of episodes, because the last couple of episodes is when everything kind of comes to a head. Because all the stuff with Amber takes place, so Mark is basically in a bit of a stupor because like Amber's left, he's in a depression and stuff, so he ends up going to find Atom Eve, who we've not really talked about her story, but in her story, like after she leaves like the New Guardians and she doesn't really stick around with them, she goes and creates like basically like a treehouse somewhere, and she leaves her parents' home and stuff like that. Her parents are very against her being a hero and stuff. So she ends up leaving there and building her own treehouse, and her powers are to like manipulate things and can change I think it's like change matter and alter it to a certain extent, so she can like literally provide a lot of help to people. So she's flying around trying to assist people and all that, and Mark ends up going to find her and talk to her, because it's one of his closest friends. The two of them have become really close, so he goes to talk to her about everything that's going on, about all the stuff that's taking place, about all the stuff with Amber. While that's going on, it basically comes out that Omni-Man killed the Guardians. Like all of that comes to a head. Like at the very end of the previous episode, we see Debbie stepping up to Nolan and basically asking him, why did you do it, you know? Hey, you want to sit put the You're back. Cannot hear you.
Yep. Sorry, I had myself on mute. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize.
No worries. Hey, Mallet, welcome on in. Yeah, we're talking Invincible. So I was just saying, dude, just kind of wrapped up that little bit about Robot, and then like we're going into the last couple of episodes. And I was just saying, so we've kind of got over the Amber stuff. Mark goes off in one because she's broke up with him. Speaking a little bit about what happened with Atom Eve, like when she left the Guardians, her parents never wanted her to be a hero, so they start giving her crap at home, so she leaves. And she's got like matter manipulation power, so she ends up building herself like this little treehouse home.
Dude, that treehouse home is legit, though. I would love
sweet.
to live there.
Yeah, it really is. Sweet. So she goes around trying to help people. She's believing she could do a lot more good. Tybo Arrow, thank you for coming in with that follow. Welcome to the Comic Clan. This is the way. Good to see you.
This is the way.
Yeah, Mallet, the tree is awesome, sweet. Dude. Yes.
I would die to have a house like that.
So she has like matter manipulation power, so she's now like, I'm going to go and actually try and help people and try and do all this stuff. Say hi, Mallet, I saw you in Heroic Dictator stream earlier. Yeah, Neo. Yeah, he was over there as well. But yeah, so he goes to talk to her because they've gotten really close over the season and stuff like that, and she became one of his best friends. So he starts talking to her. Until the end of the episode, that's basically the Mark stuff done. It's just him moping.
Yeah.
And getting told, get over yourself, basically. On the other side of things, at the end of the last episode, though, Debbie confronts Nolan. She confronts Omni-Man, and basically, like, why did you do it?
Yeah.
And basically puts her cards out on the table, like, I know you killed them.
Yeah.
And he's like, he basically doesn't totally deny it, but he's trying to explain why. He's trying to explain why he did it.
Yeah, the one way that one of the main ways she found out was, when Omni-Man came out of the hospital after he had the brakes beat off of him when he killed the Guardians, they kept his costume. I don't know if we already went over this. Did we already go over this?
We talked a little bit about it, like he grabbed the costume and she took it to him, to Art to get checked out.
He basically stashed it in his house because he didn't want anybody finding it, and she found it one day while she was cleaning, and that's when she went and got it done. So yeah.
Hey Billet, how's it going? Welcome on in, Billet. Good to see you. Yeah, can we just talk about, by the way, how stupid it is that the most powerful man in the world took the evidence that he had beaten the Guardians to death and stashed it in his home? You could have flown that to the sun and thrown it in there, but you kept it.
Let me put it on top of my kitchen cabinet.
It's like, really?
Come on, dude. Yeah, I agree, Mallet. Super brave. Sandra Oh did.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like, and can I shout out as well, because I heard someone talking about it as well. Like in the comics, Debbie doesn't really have that big of a personality and role. You don't get to know her as well as you do in the show. Like after all the stuff comes out with Omni-Man, she basically her personality trait is basically alcoholic. She gets really drunk and gets into it. But like Sandra Oh took this role and ran with it and absolutely killed it.
Dude, like, she was awesome, man.
She literally stands up to the most powerful being on the planet and gets right in his face about it.
Yep.
And it's like, and then I love the fact that she gets up in his face and then turns her back and walks up the stairs to bed. And I'm like, you've just got in the face of this unstable powerhouse and turned your back on him. Like, he could murder you like that.
Yeah, without even blinking.
So she's confronted him. So this next episode is basically, oh yeah, I bet you just woke up, Bullet. It's like practically morning for you. It's like he's over in Australia.
Good eye, mate. Sorry, I had to do it.
Wow. All the Australians are unsubbing.
I'm so sorry.
It's actually Invincible.
Don't unsub.
Mallet, she's the one that's actually Invincible. Mic drop. It's like, oh dear. But yeah, so the next episode is basically the truth is out. Yeah. The world doesn't know yet, but everyone kind of knows that Nolan's done it. That he killed the Guardians. So he lets loose, like, can I say, like, that scene in his house when he gets in there and he realizes, when he comes home and he realizes there's people in his home.
Oh my god.
They're just all invisible. Dude. And, like, he just runs through them.
Yeah, so one of the,
So Cecil, the dude who's the head of that organization, I can't think of the organization's name offhand. The Global Defense Agency. That's it.
Yeah.
So basically, they have technology where they can be invisible. So a lot of times, like there will be characters talking on the show, and then Cecil will just show up, or people will just show up around them with all the weapons drawn and all that stuff. So what Cross is talking about in the scene where Omni-Man is in his house and he knows he's just done, and then he knows there's somebody in the house, and he grabs somebody, I think, like out of midair, and he just legit just
He rams a gun through
massacres.
somebody's head.
Yeah, he massacres every single one of them. He pushes one person. I'm sorry, we're gonna get a little.
Yeah,
bit
this is the one I was thinking of that you're
Yeah.
about to tell.
He pushes a dude into the island, the kitchen island, and the dude's torso separates from his body and it slides across the
Yeah, the back,
island.
the bottom half
Oh
hits
my
the top,
gosh.
and the top half just keeps going. I'm like,
Dude
oh!
is like he just murders every single one of those dudes.
And then, of course,
is very evidently a woman, and it doesn't matter.
yeah, there's no. It's like I just love the fact as well. Like he throws one outside, and she kind of hints at this house across the street, like she's reaching for help,
Yeah.
which completely puts him onto they're in there. So he busts into this house across the street, and then the guy that looks like, what is it, Bobby Hill from King of the Hill grown up,
Yeah, he does, dude. He does.
who's like the second to like Cecil, like his aide.
Yeah.
He goes off.
He
Like,
does,
he's-
man. He pulls a little Yoda.
He pulls a gun,
Yoda
starts
action.
blasting at Omni-Man, like flips over the table round past him, goes to
Yeah.
activate something, and Omni-Man grabs him by the spine
Yeah, and breaks his spine through his back
and
yeah.
holds him, and then like he sets it off. Yeah, equal treatment for women finally. Murdered equally with men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Murder equality, I guess, for Omni-Man.
Yep. Omni-Man doesn't care. He murders everyone equally.
Everyone. Yeah.
Men, women, children, doesn't matter.
Nope.
So he ends up blowing up the house on Omni-Man. Debbie at this point has managed to make it to the GDA and is talking to Cecil, and she's like, did that do anything to him? He's like, probably not.
And literally the smoke clears and he's just standing there. So it literally did nothing.
Yeah, it's literally done nothing to him, but they are throwing everything they can at him.
So this episode, the start of this episode, basically the start to the middle is them just throwing everything they can at him, including one of the characters that he murdered at the beginning of the show, Immortal, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Who is literally immortal. They put him back together. They put his severed head back together. That Omni-Man chopped off with his hand like a karate chop. They put it back together, and he goes ballistic on Omni-Man.
Yeah.
And Omni-Man again does the same exact thing with him, but this time it's on national TV. Like everybody is watching this fight between Omni-Man and Immortal, and like, wait a minute, Immortal's alive? I thought Omni-Man killed him, and then it's starting to click with everybody. Oh, Omni-Man killed him. Shit.
Yeah.
And then Omni-Man proceeds to cut him in half on national TV, and that's when I think it kind of clicks.
Yeah, that's
with
when
Mark.
everything clicks with everyone.
Yeah, because Mark goes to try to help him fight because they enlisted a kaiju.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, well, like the Immortals, like the last person they throw at him, because like they've managed to capture like the guy who made the cyborgs, and they're using the cyborgs to fight Omni-Man because
Yeah.
he put up a fight against Mark. They try to fight him. They blast like a massive satellite laser like from space that kills everything within the area
Yeah.
and barely scratches him. And then they go for a second shot, and he destroys it. All this time, like, they're trying to get a hold of Mark. Like, Cecil is trying to, and because Debbie's like, well, who are you going to throw at him? And he's like, the only person I think can stand a chance. Because he's like, the only other Viltrumite that's on the planet is Mark. He's the only one that's got a chance of beating Omni-Man.
Yep.
So they throw the kaiju at him that he barely beat. Like,
I agree. Mallet's saying that kaiju was winning. I agree.
yeah, the kaiju is winning because they make it very clear that kaiju almost beat him, and they've taken out like its pain sensors and all this stuff. So there's a chance that this thing could win.
Yeah.
So of course, like Atom Eve and stuff find out. Atom Eve and Mark find out this stuff's going on. She goes to help. He kind of feels guilted into going. He's like, I'm not going to go. I'm going to sit here and mope.
Yeah.
While they're flying there, like Atom gets a call from Mark's mom, and it's like that. You need to tell Mark that his dad's in the fight, and trying to tell him don't help him.
Yeah.
Don't go and help him because automatically he's going to want to. So he goes, and then him and his dad start fighting this kaiju, and that's when the Immortals brought back. And he's actually brought back by what's their faces, by the Maulers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They'd
That's
like
right.
dig up his body and put it back together, and they try to put the
Yeah,
control
they tried to put
collar,
that collar on him. Yeah, that's right.
which I love the fact Robot gave him the details for that, and it just didn't work. He
No, that
screwed it
was
up
funny.
some way, and it's like
Yeah,
it didn't
Mark
work.
just ripped it off, and then he said, "Where's Omni-Man?" He like screamed it.
Yeah, so he goes after Omni Man. The two of them end up in this massive fist fight, and it's revealed like he halves him on TV, and then turns around and Mark, who's just beat the kaiju, is standing there like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like,
And
why?
then and then proceeds the last half of the episode where him and Mark.
Oh,
Or, no. Let me just say he beats the brakes off of Mark for
this is a lot.
basically half an episode.
No, it's the last episode. It's the whole last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's eight.
Yeah, just for like the last half of the episode, it's literally Omni-Man just beating the brakes off of his son.
Yeah, like, because that episode ends there with them face to face, and the next one kicks off with him, and the first thing Mark does is start laying into his dad.
Oh, you're right. It is a whole episode. Shoot, that's right.
Yeah, it's like he starts laying into his dad because he's like, "Are you mind controlled? Is there someone out there, Dad? Can you hear it?" Because he's automatically thinking,
Yeah.
something made you do that. There's no way in the world my dad would
Yeah.
do that. And
Yeah.
he's like, it's like, Mark, stop, and that's when he reveals who he is, the Viltrumite, and that he's there to conquer Earth, and he goes into this whole stuff. I was like, don't you care about anything? Like, don't you care about me and Mom? And it's like, I love your mother. She's like a pet to me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh,
oh,
shoot.
because it's like, because he says like, yeah, we live for thousands of years. What's her lifespan in the mass amount of the Viltrumite Empire? Like,
Yeah.
he's a full blown like loyalist. He is a full blown, like, he's head at the Nazi table for the space Nazis. You know what I mean? It's like
He's bought in.
he is all in. He's completely into this and thinks that they deserve to take it over. Cecil tries to fire whatever they can at him as well, and they send like freaking jets at them.
Okay, I gotta call out this one spot with
Yeah.
the jets.
Yes.
All right, him and Mark are fighting. They scramble some jets to try to fire some missiles at him, which I have no idea why they did that. They shot a freaking laser, a space laser at him, and it didn't do anything. Missiles from it, whatever. Anyways, so he starts wrecking shop on the jets. One of the jet dudes ejects, and Mark has to kind of guide him to the ground and break the chair because it's really not working.
Yeah, like
And
the parachute
Mark is-
rips away and everything, and the guy's just falling. And
Yeah, and Mark is on the ground. He's talking to him, and then Omni-Man lands and proceeds to punch through the dude's face right in front of Mark and splatter Mark with blood.
oh, he doesn't even punch it; he squeezes it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He puts his hand on and goes, pff, and like literally crushes the guy's skull, and it was, like, right in Mark's face. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. And Mallet's saying there,
Brutality from Omni-Man was just
Yeah.
crazy.
and Mallet's saying there, there's something so chilling about how rational Omni-Man seems to sound while he's trying to justify what he's doing. To him, he is totally in the right. Yeah, and that's
Agreed.
it. It's like he is completely bought into the fact of like what he's doing is the right thing. Like, these people don't matter. You either bow down to the Viltrumites or you'll be wiped out because that's what you deserve.
Yeah, and this is where I think J.K. Simmons, like his excellence comes in because the way that he plays this,
Oh,
in the
his
last
acting.
episode, the way that he plays
Oh.
Omni-Man in the last episode is just like, oh, it's so good, man.
It's phenomenally done. He's J.K. Simmons. Like, I love
You know,
J.K. Simmons as an actor.
It's psycho.
I would love him as an actor, but I forget how good he can be sometimes. Like I love him and what he can do, but like I legit forget just how good he is.
Yeah.
Like the way he plays all the different emotional aspects of Omni-Man.
Yeah.
It's like he's completely bought into this, like this basically space Nazism of the Viltrumites. He's basically bought into that, but also this calm, collect tone to him as well. And then also you start to see the struggle, as we'll get into, of like that. Is there something that's changed since he got here?
Yeah.
Because like he then starts to like fight Mark, and like he punches Mark, and Mark goes flying. He rips through a city just because he's going backwards and can't stop himself.
Oh, okay. One of the most crazy scenes I've ever seen, ever in a movie or an animated show. I'm gonna talk. You know what I'm gonna talk about. So he's basically his entire point. Omni-Man's entire point is basically to prove to Mark that these people don't matter. The only thing that matters are you and me. That's the only thing that matters because we're Viltrumites, and that's literally the only thing because these people are like dust in the wind. We live for thousands of years, like Cross said. So in order to prove that point to him, he uses Mark to produce collateral damage and murder people. He uses Mark's body to do that. And one of the ways that he does it, he crashes down into a subway, and he's fighting Mark on the subway track. And you see a subway train coming, and he's like, I'm going to show you what I mean. So he takes Mark by the back of the neck and holds him up with one arm and proceeds to basically allow the train to run through Mark, and Mark is flailing his arms, and he basically kills every single person in the train by using Mark's body.
They make it so horrific because it turns to Mark, because it turns to Mark's view. So you're like in Mark's eyes, watching this train just destroyed around you, and this blood as people just are eviscerated against them. And I'm like, it's so. I watched that scene. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh my word.
And I'm like, Omni-Man did not come to play. Like, he came to prove a point.
And we as comic book fans watching comic book movies, we always like to talk about collateral damage and all that stuff, and like how there was more collateral damage in Marvel movies than DC movies or whatever. You actually see it in this. Like, you see what would happen.
They make
two supremely superpowered beings fought in the street.
The awesome thing is they set that precedence up, though. Like, right from the get-go, like, when you have, like, the fight when the aliens invade, like, in episode 2, and Mark is trying to save them, and he's getting the crap kicked out of him, and you see people getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like, this show makes it very real what collateral damage looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
And in this final fight with Omni-Man, like, I love the fact that, like, even the scene like when he gets thrown through the building and he sees the building falling and he tries to stop it, and it's like he's got the mom in his hand and the little girl's here and he is just trying to save someone.
Yeah.
And then Omni-Man just flies through him, and he stands up out the rubble still holding a hand, and he looks at it and the arms, like, the person's gone. It's just their arm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just.
And I'm like, he is trying so freaking hard.
Yeah.
To be a hero, and like Omni-Man just does not care. Not even a little. And I'm like, this is more horrific than if Superman went off the rails. This is more like people were comparing Omni-Man or Homelander. I'm like, Homelander's got nothing on Omni-Man.
No. All right, so I know we're like 23 past 4, but I want to talk about the last scene basically in the series. Well, no, the last scene with Omni-Man in the series, because that's basically all that matters.
That's heartbreaking,
episode, honestly.
That's heartbreaking.
So this entire time, you're led to believe that legit Omni-Man is a sociopath. He cares nothing about like humans or human emotions or anything related to Earth whatsoever, other than I want this planet to be a Viltrumite planet. I'm going to conquer this no matter what the cost. So it gets to the point where he is beating the brakes off of Mark. He has him pinned down on a rock, and he's punching the crap out of his face, and he keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. And in those punches, we pan back to Omni-Van's view, and you can see him punching his son Mark, and then this is why this show's so good. And then it flashes back to him at one of Mark's baseball games back in the day. And like he's like, dude, I'm Superman basically. I don't need to be here. This is a waste of time. I should be saving people. And Sandra Oh, as Debbie's like, dude, just chill out and watch your son hit the ball. And Mark swings a couple times, misses, and then he swings and cranks it. And you see Omni-Van get excited. He's happy for his son. And then he starts waving his son home to slide on the home base. And then you flash back to him punching the crap out of his son. His son is basically a mangled mess of just meat and blood. And like you see him, like you actually see him start crying. You see Omni-Man, like you see a tear come down the side of his face, and he stops. He holds his fist up, and then he just leaves. Oh my gosh, that scene was so intense, man.
It was nuts. It was honestly insane. It's so just shoutouts there. So I was trying to work out why I'm freaking not getting the sound alerts up for this. I don't know why. I'll need to have a look at stuff. But thank you, Neospider, for gifting that tier 1 sub to Ravenite, and welcome on in, Ravenite. Good to see you. And Mallet resubscribing for 2 months in a row. Thank you so much, Ravenite and Mallet, part of the Stan clan. Good to see y'all. But yeah, like the final scene, it's so horrific, and it's the fact of like him screaming at him is like, don't you see why this is so pointless?
Yeah, he's taking.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah,
they're all going to die, and you're still going to be alive in 500 years. What will you have left? And he said, and then he says, "I'll have you, Dad."
Yeah, And that's when he stops.
Through his broken face, he can barely move. He is bloodied
Yeah,
and
he's got his
battered.
teeth knocked out and everything.
It's like, oh. I'm like, it's so heartbreaking. And then Omni-Man leaves.
Yeah.
He literally takes off and flies into space. And we get Alan the Alien showing up after that as well, which he shows up earlier on and we get a whole thing with him. But he comes back and basically, like, because he came to the wrong planet initially, and Invincible set him right and he went off. But he comes back, it's like, Invincible, thank goodness you're here. It's like, you've got a Viltrumite in your planet. Like, oh yeah, we know. It's my dad. It's like, wait, what? And they start talking to him and he tells him the whole thing and he's like, he just left.
Yeah.
And they're like, Viltrumites don't just leave. When they've got their eyes set on a planet,
Yeah.
they don't leave. That means more are coming.
Yeah.
Which, if in the comics, like, yeah, more Viltrumites come. And what I'm interested to see is when more Viltrumites come, those Viltrumites are worse than Omni-Man. Omni-Man's a pushover compared to some of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. And the rest of the ending of the episode is basically all kind of wrapping up all the different stories we've seen and where they are, and kind of like what stuff we're going to see from them in the future, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. Yeah, Coop finally in the chat.
What is up?
Good to see you. Dude, show off your shirt for him. Let him see.
Rocking the merch, bro.
But yeah, this was amazing. Let me catch up Malice. The thing that shows what everyone is doing at the very end, though, it had that white tiger guy who beat Mark
Battle Beast
badly, so he might be able to take Omni-Man. What do you think? Possibly. I think he might be able to give Omni-Man a fight. I don't know, because that's the thing. We've not seen Omni-Man pushed to his limit yet.
Like, yeah, the only time I've seen him gassed is when he was fighting the what are they called again?
The Guardians.
The Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah, or he's
it was basically them against him.
But even then, like, he so easily went through them. I think Battle Beast will give him a good fight, but I don't know. And even if he does, then the other Viltrumites, like literally the other Viltrumites that come, we actually see one of them. Like, see when it does the flashback to the worlds that they come from. Mm-hmm. And you see like the big pile of bodies and it pans over to the winners, like the big dude, the first big massive guy with the beard in it. That's one of the guys that comes. And he is like, apparently he is practically unstoppable.
Good grief.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but we're kind of well over time at this point, but kind of wrapping up thoughts then, overall thoughts on the show, overall thoughts on everything that we've seen.
Dude, I loved it. I loved it, man. I'm a huge animated superhero animated show fan, and I thought this was really good. The only negative I'll say, just from an animation standpoint, like having seen shows like Avatar and stuff like that, like I try to compare everything animation-wise to Avatar, just the animation quality, and I feel like this show was slightly lacking in the actual animation department. Like, I feel like there were some corners cut, which is, I guess, is understandable if you're trying to mass produce this stuff. But the art style, I love it. I love the art style, but the story obviously takes the cake. Yeah. The story is awesome, and I can't recommend this show enough. It's awesome a show.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I completely disagree. I think the art style was phenomenal, but also so was the animation. I think it was absolutely fantastic. I think all of it just looked so crisp, so clear, so awesome for the most part. There may have been a couple of corner cutting things here and there.
Yeah, I think it's just a frame rate issue.
Definitely, but for the most part, I'm like, yeah, I thought it was pretty phenomenal. I thought it went really well with all of that stuff. I thought the animation just looked amazing. Like, the style of it was gorgeous. It's one of the best looking animated shows I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, the thing that threw me off was just I think there was some, I don't know how many frames per second they used, but it was just my visual brain, it was just throwing me off a bit. But yeah, I think that animation style was beautiful.
Absolutely. But yeah, kind of same, like, I think it was an amazing show. Story was phenomenal. Absolutely loved the art style of it. I loved everything about it, and I'm hyped. They got it got renewed for season 2 and 3, and I'm all in. I'm all in to see what they do with it. I'm all in to see what happens with Invincible. But yeah, if you have not checked out the show, if you have not checked out any of it, even if you have hung around for the spoilers and stuff and haven't checked it out, go and check it out. The show is absolutely phenomenal, well worth checking out. Really great story to it. But thank you for everyone that popped in today. Thank you for everyone that has hung out with us as we've came back with the podcast. But that is everything from us today. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Thanks,
guys. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow. And remember, as always, it's a good week to be a geek. Take care.